Srimad Bhagavad Gita in Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. So welcome to this wonderful session of this Gita course. Can someone tell me the topic for today's discussion? What is the topic for today's discussion?
Why do we need Guru or guide?
Why do I need to?
Guru guide.
Okay. Do I need a guide? Is that the topic? Okay, so we will discuss this topic today. It's one of the most important sessions. So the most important session, or one of the most important sessions, is meant for, what can I say, the people who are the most interested. So we request good attention from everybody as we discuss today's session. Like all the other sessions, this session is also dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Everything which we are going to discuss today is basically in line with the teachings of Prabhupada and his sincere followers. And I would like to dedicate today's discussion and teachings and the entire session for the pleasure of Prabhupada. And to seek his blessings and all the other teachers, I would like to chant some pranam for us. Those who know, please recite with me. Those who don't, try to hear it most attentively. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajapam Sahagrana Raghunathanvitam Kam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagrana Lalita Shri Vishakhantamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Taptakan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sandhubhya Evacha Padinam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Lokavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya, Krishna Prishtaya, Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavani Bhashnati Deshaya. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pannundam Jayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So the title for today's discussion is Do I Need a Guide in My Life? The agenda for today's discussion is, as the topic says, but the most important part of this today's agenda is our analysis, where we try to understand what is my attitude. Am I ready to accept help from someone or not? That is the most important question. And then the different kinds of guides which are available. We'll also have a practical tip, and that will conclude today's discussion. So shall we start? Everybody's ready? Very good. Anybody coming for the first time today? First time? First time? This is your first session? How many of you think you need a guide in your life? Even before I start the session, yes, I need a guide. Without a guide, I really cannot function. Except you, everybody raised hand. So it looks like you are still confused. They'll ask you this question again after 30 minutes, and I'll take your answer. But before I begin the discussion, let's try to understand what is knowledge. All of us have studied the first two sessions. Some knowledge you have got. How many of you took the 7-day challenge to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day, one round? You took it? After the class, we will share the experiences. So when it comes to knowledge, we have to just briefly describe it. And if we open for an audience poll, what is your answer? What is knowledge? In one line or 2 words, what do you think is knowledge? Something must be coming to your mind. You can just tell that. Yes, what are you thinking?
Based on your experiences, what you learn, like kind of.
So, based on your experience, whatever you learn, that is knowledge, okay? To learn more is called knowledge, okay? Knowledge helps us to develop our behavior. Any other answer? Yes?
Learn and forget. What should you remember? That is your education. And how you are maintaining that, applying that education in your lifestyle, that is known as knowledge.
Learning is called education, and the application of education is called knowledge. Interesting. आपको कुछ कहना है? Okay. What are the symptoms of knowledge? If I just ask you that here is a man or a woman who has knowledge, so what will be the symptoms of that person?
Someone who can actually be able to differentiate at least what is bad.
Somebody who can differentiate what is good and bad. And what do you think they will follow after that? Good or bad?
Of course, if he is knowledgeable, he should follow the good.
Okay. So do we agree that a man of knowledge is necessarily a man of good character? Is that a yes or no?
No.
Knowledge can be used in any way.
No, one second. Everybody said no. A man of knowledge can be a bad character also.
Yes.
Then is that, whatever he is possessing, is that knowledge? Just now he told, ability to differentiate between right and wrong, and then choosing the right thing to do. If a person is doing the right thing, then why should he have a bad character? Huh?
If he is not knowledgeable, that is why he is doing all things.
Correct. So, can we conclude that a man of knowledge is definitely a man of good character?
You can choose to do the reverse side and no good and bad, you can choose bad.
But then, suppose drinking liquor is bad, and you can choose, you know it is bad, you have the knowledge, how liquor is the source of all sins. And you know that, you understand that, but you choose to do that. And how are you a man of knowledge? He said, when we apply the right things in life, that is called knowledge. You may know 200 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, but if you are not applying it in your life, are you a man of knowledge? Bhagavad Gita is Jnana Vijnana Satam. Jnana means education, or rather Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana means applied knowledge, practical experience. So, if a man is not a good character, all his so-called education and information which he has is a waste. Do you all agree? Somebody can be a great personality, a great economist, a great scientist, but if his character is not, then it's a serious problem. Any other symptoms of knowledge? Person must be humble. Okay. If a person is not humble, then definitely calm. Even the cow is calm. So the cow is full of knowledge. Yes.
He's willing to learn more.
He's willing to learn more. Good. There are many people who want to learn more. A thief wants to learn from a senior thief how to steal better. So he is a thief, a man of good character. Please understand, willingness to learn more is not necessarily a sign of good character. And if that is not a sign of good character, that cannot be knowledge. We are not talking about data. I know engineering, I know medicine, I know law, I know accounts. That is data. But what is knowledge? No, my question is, what is the symptom of knowledge? The first symptom of knowledge, we all agreed, is good character. Is there any other, like she said, humility is a symptom of knowledge. So we agree. What are the other symptoms of knowledge?
We choose what is good or what is bad. Actually,
Ability to differentiate between good and bad. Even discrimination is a sign of knowledge. Okay, accept. Good answer. Any other?
Should be able to guide others also.
Should be able to guide others also. One important aspect. If a person is able to guide others, if a person is humble, if a person is having a discriminatory power, if a person is having a good character also, but his senses are not in his control, will the knowledge he has be of some good use for him? This is another symptom. You may be a man of great knowledge, but if you cannot control your mind, if you cannot control your senses, then your knowledge has no value. Does it make sense? So can we conclude that the sure sign of knowledge is sense control and mind control? Can we conclude this? If your senses and if your mind are not in your control, if your character is not good, then strictly speaking, you are not a man of knowledge. You are in some kind of illusion. So if I want to summarize, good character and sense control, they are the sign or the sure symptoms of knowledge. Do all of you agree? Now, is this being taught in our universities, colleges and schools? Good character and sense control. Knowledge means marks. Knowledge means certificates. Knowledge means medals. Knowledge means trophies. This is a complete misdirection. So if all of you agree, I would like to give you 3 or 4 or maybe 5 definitions of knowledge more, so that we can understand very clearly what we are trying to discuss. Once we understand what is knowledge, then we will discuss whether I need a guide or not. This is a definition from Chanakya Pandit. Matravat paradareshu paradravyeshu lostravat atmavat sarva bhuteshu yam pashyati sa panditah. Matravat paradareshu. Dara means wife. Para means others. Matravat means like mother. So, a person who sees every other woman except his wife as his mother. Paradravyeshu lostrava. Lostra means kachara. One who sees others' property as garbage. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. One who always puts himself in the shoes of others and treats others the way he wants himself to be treated. Or rather, another deeper spiritual meaning of this could be one who sees everybody at the platform of spirit soul. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. He understands I am a part and parcel of Krishna, and this ant is also a part and parcel of Krishna. That dragonfly is also the part and parcel of Krishna. That spider is also part and parcel of Krishna. You are also part and parcel of Krishna. So if I want to be treated with love and dignity and respect, the same love and dignity you also deserve, the ant also deserves, the parrot also deserves, the fish also deserves, the cow also deserves, the hen also deserves. So this is the sign of knowledge. Other than my wife, every other woman, be it a small child also, she is my mother. Other than my own allocated quota of property, I will not be encroaching upon others' property or others' quota. For me, it is like, how many of you are interested in garbage? If some garbage is thrown on the street, you'll be like, "Chalo, pack karke ghar le chalenge." Garbage. I have a friend, he does a business of gobar, cow milk. He's very interesting. Anybody calls him, he's a very intelligent person. He read the scriptures, and in the scriptures it was told that Lakshmi resides in Goa. He took it very seriously, and now he's a very rich man. He makes Goa products, Goa pellets, Goa manures, Goa this, Goa that, and they are selling in great quantity. Earlier he was a poor software engineer, now he's a rich businessman because of Goa. So anybody calls him, a lot of gobar is here. He's like, come in. He collects gobar for free from the cow shed, and he's making money on it. But how many other people like this are interested in, gobar is generally considered illiterate people or less intelligent people, they consider it as kachara. They just pick it up and throw it out. So how many of you are very interested in garbage? I don't think anybody will be. So others' property should be like garbage for us. We should not meditate on it. And Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu, looking everybody at the platform of spirit soul and respecting them and treating them with the same dignity and love which we expect for ourselves. A person who does these three things. What are the three things? First one. So for women, looking at every man other than your husband as maybe your father. And for men, looking at every woman other than your wife as your mother. This is the first one. Second one, looking at the property of others as. Third one, seeing everybody at the platform of and treating every living entity with respect and dignity. A person who does these three things, ya pashavi samapita, he is a pandit. Now think of anybody who's been called as pandit and think whether he has these three characteristics. Pandit means, how many of you think it's very easy to become a pandit? It's not easy. Pandit is not a word which can be thrown around like this. So Chanakya was a pandit. Now, a little deeper definition. I taught knowledge means good character. So the first verse was talking about good character. This verse talks about sense control. This is from the book called Upadeshamrit, written by Rupa Goswami. Lord Krishna came as Lord Chaitanya. So in our altar you will see Radha Krishna, and next to Radha Krishna a man standing with hands up. That is Krishna, in the form of his own devotee, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now if you come down after Narsimdev and the five personalities, we chant the Panchtattva mantra, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So in the middle, Lord Chaitanya is there with yellow dhoti, that is Krishna. Towards left or right of, if Lord Chaitanya is here, towards his right is Lord Nityananda, that is Balaram, with the blue dhoti. After that is Advaita Acharya, the combination of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. Towards his left is Gadadhar Pandit with the pinkish dhoti, that is the incarnation of Srimati Radharani. And towards the leftmost side is a man, is a person with shaved head, Srivas Thakur, who is the incarnation of Narayana. This is the Panchakara. After these figures, when you come down a little bit lower in the altar, towards your leftmost side, you can see 6 personalities in the photo. And you see there are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Whatever we know about Vrindavan today, they have excavated on the order of Lord Chaitanya. So amongst those 6 Goswamis, the leader was Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami has written a book called Upadeshamrit, the Nectar of Instruction. It is available in the bookstore, those who want it to purchase it. There he gives symptoms of a man of knowledge. Somebody said a man of knowledge should be able to teach very nicely. Who said that? You said that. Therefore, a man of knowledge should be a guru. So what are the symptoms of a guru? Here are the symptoms. Vacho vegam manasah krodha vegam jidva vegam udarupastha vegam etan vegan yuvishahet dhiraha sarvam apimam prithvim sashishya. Very nice definition. Vacho vegam. Veg means the urge. You have the urge to do something? Sorry? Everybody has some urge to do something. So vacho vegam. Vacha means speaking. One who has controlled the urge to speak. Everyone who wants to speak up and show their knowledge. We have so many books. Why we have so many movies? Why we have so many pages in the newspaper? Why we have so many yellow page journalism or the masala news? Why we have so many novels? Because everybody has a tendency to speak. Somebody wants to speak, so they write a novel. Somebody wants to speak, so they write a book. Somebody wants to speak, they write an article. Somebody wants to speak, they open a YouTube channel. Somebody wants to do something. Something they will do and it will result in some nonsense literature. Or some podcast or some video. The only way in which the vega of vacha or the urge to speak can be controlled is by speaking only about Krishna. If somebody has taken a vow that I will speak only about Krishna, then we can say that his speech is under his control. Otherwise, whatever they will speak, that will be nonsense. That will be immaterial. And ultimately, the Rupa Goswami says that their speaking is like croaking of a frog. And when the frogs croak, whom they invite? The snake comes, the frog is here, and the snake will come and eat it. Manasah. So one who has controlled the urge to speak, one who has controlled his mind, the actions and the thought process of the mind. How to control the mind? One who has fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, his mind is controlled. How many of you feel that the mind always has a tendency to search for something new? It always wants everything new, everything fresh. Every moment it wants new and fresh. You have been driving a car. You agree or you have a question? You agree. So you have been driving a car for 1 month, you like it. Now after that you want to have a new car. So I had a friend who was working in a car company, and every 4 months he was given a new car for trial testing. So he was like, I'm satisfied. I don't need to buy, but every 4 months my neighbors can see that I have a new car. So I asked him, are you satisfied because of the car or because of the neighbors being envious of you? He said the latter. So Manasa, how to control the mind? It is impossible. How many of you think you can provide, you can give an unlimited supply of new, fresh things to your mind every moment? How many of you have that capacity? Because that is the demand. The demand is to give me something new, something new, something new, something new. I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored, something new. It's not possible. However, the scriptures say that the personality of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the form of Krishna, and the pastimes of Krishna are ever new and ever fresh. There is no repetition in it. Or there is no, the moment you come in touch with the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna, and if you take part in this discussions or in hearing about the Naam, Roop, or Leela, you will feel that it is completely new and fresh, provided you approach it in the mode of devotion. Example, how many times we have read the Bhagavad Gita, how many times we have heard Krishna Leela, but every time when we hear, we feel it is ever fresh, ever new. This is not possible with some Rajesh Khanna song or with some Shah Rukh Khan movie. It's not possible. How many times you will see Amitabh Bachchan? Nah, you get bored of it. Then you will say, change karenge. But every time, we discuss, let's say, Putna Leela, you will be here. You will be listening. This means Krishna is ever new and ever fresh. So here is the demand. The mind is demanding something new and something fresh every moment. And Krishna is ever new and ever fresh. So those who fix their mind on the lotus feet of Krishna, the demand is met, supply is provided. So therefore the mind can be controlled only by thinking about Krishna. Krodha Vegam. We are discussing the qualifications of a man of knowledge. So the speech has to be under control, the mind has to be under control, and then Krodha Vegam, the urge to become angry and do activities in anger, has to be controlled. How many of you think that we should do this? You want to control your anger? Do you want to control your anger? So how to do this? How to do? Meditation, no? That means you tried. Did you become successful? No, that means meditation doesn't work. Let's be honest. Don't say that I'll do better meditation, one day I'll get more. That's like a post-dated check. When it will get encashed, we don't know. So how to control anger? Yes, you people never become angry in your life. So how to control the anger? That means you have controlled it. So how have you controlled it? You're still in progress? Okay. Try to change the situation. I'm angry at my son, so throw the son out of the house. That's the change in situation for the next 2 hours. I'm peaceful. My mother used to do that with me.
It's something if we try to control our mind, the anger will also be kind of controlled.
But the problem is that when you become angry, your mind is no longer in your control. That's why you are angry.
Have any expectations? Probably you will not be disappointed.
So what is the root cause of anger? Expectations.
That is all boils down to lust only.
Lust is the root cause of anger. So how many of you think removing lust from your heart is a 2-day affair? Before next Sunday, I'll be an anger-free personality.
It's a long-term affair.
Please take note, we are not here to remove anger from our hearts because it's not possible. We are here to channelize it. The channelizing of anger should be done in this way. I should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare with attention. That will give me the strength to remain humble, to become tolerant, to not have any expectations, and to be always ready to give love and respect to others and me. If we chant Hare Krishna sincerely and seriously, that will make me very tolerant, that will make me very humble, that will help me to not have any expectations from anybody, but will make me large-hearted enough to give all the love and respect to others. Then, I will not become angry. However, that is not the solution. The solution is, anger is there as an emotion within me. So, I have to use it whenever I see that Krishna is being blasphemed, whenever I see that somebody is talking ill about the devotees, whenever I see that the holy name of the Lord is being misinterpreted, whenever I see that some mental concoction or mental speculation is going on in the name of Bhagavad Gita, I should become angry. That is the proper usage of anger. And only when you use it in that way, your anger will always be angry. We are not here, some people say that you are a saintly person, you chant Hare Krishna, why do you become angry? This is a wrong question, therefore we don't answer. A saintly person should become angry when Krishna is being misrepresented. A saintly person should become angry when a devotee of Krishna is being chastised or insulted or blasphemed. For example, look at Hanuman. How many of you think his mind was under his control? Everybody, all of us think of that. But when he went to Lanka, and when he saw Lord Ram being blasphemed and Mother Sita being harassed, he became so angry that he burnt the whole Lanka. Do you think it is possible to burn the Lanka without being angry? Lanka is not a small 2 BHK apartment. It was a city. How many of you can burn an entire city without becoming angry? And when Hanuman became angry and burnt the whole Lanka, do we criticize him for that? We praise him. Good that you did. That is called channelization of anger. Next is Jivva Vega. Jivva means the desire to eat. Tongue. Amongst all the urges, Jivva Vegam is the strongest. Do I need to explain this? Or are you already self-realized enough that I can control everything? Tongue right now. I really want that hot jalebi fried in ghee. If somebody asks me to go 22 kilometers for that in Bangalore traffic, I will go. How many of you think whatever I said is true? So a man of knowledge is someone who has control. How to control the Jivva? No. You have to take a vow, a sincere, serious vow, that from today, or maybe from tomorrow, let's say, I will eat only Krishna Prasad. I will starve, but I will not touch anything which is not offered to Krishna. Then automatically, because whole world, when you roam around, you will not get prasad anywhere. Nobody offers any bhoga to Krishna. All these, great cooks and chefs who are there on YouTube, they teach how to make something. While cooking only, they are tasting also. That is not the culture. Bhoga means you have to cook it with high standard of cleanliness, following Bhagavad Gita chapter 17, shloka number 8, 9 and 10. Cooking food in the mode of goodness, not tasting it, first offering it to Krishna with a tulsi leaf, with prayer and devotion, and then accepting it as prasad. So how many places you get prasad in Bangalore? Other than ISKCON temples. And in your home also you can make prasad. It's not very difficult. Just make sattvic food, put a tulsi leaf, offer it to Krishna. You made little halwa, offer it to Krishna, and then mix it with the rest of the halwa, and then it becomes prasad. So if somebody takes a vow that from today I will eat only prasad, the tongue is already under control. They cannot eat outside. They cannot eat in restaurants. They cannot eat, in office parties and things like that. So if you take such a vow, automatically it comes under control. After that is udara past. Udara means belly, and past means genitals. So the scriptures say, Etan vegan yovishahet dhiraha. One who has controlled these 6 urges. Sarvam abhimam prithvim sasishya. Such a person has the right to travel all over the prithvi, all over the earth, and make disciples. This is the definition of knowledge. And this is the definition of a man in knowledge. Person who has controlled the urge to speak by speaking only about Krishna. Person who has controlled his mind by thinking about the lotus feet of Krishna. Person who has controlled his anger, the urges of his anger, by channelizing it, by using it in Krishna's service. One who has controlled the urge to eat by taking a vow of eating only prasadam. Okay, udara pastha I did not explain. So tongue, belly and genitals, they all come in one straight line. So if somebody can control their tongue, their belly and genitals will automatically be controlled. That is the summary of belly and genitals. Just control your tongue, belly and genitals will follow that. There is no need for much discussion on those things. So a person who has controlled these 6 urges, only he is a man of knowledge, and only he has a right to travel all over the world and make disciples. Now you will be knowing so many so-called gurus. Test them at this criteria. See, it is very important. How many of you have purchased gold till now? So you must be knowing the criteria to test the gold so that you don't get cheated, right? What is the criteria to test gold? BIS problem. Suppose if you don't know that, then what is the possibility that you will get cheated? Similarly, you are out looking for a guru, but if you do not know the definition of a guru, how will you end up with the right guru? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Suppose you send your child out, get some gold from the market. The child will ask, this child who is walking, he will ask, how is gold? What does gold look like? So gold is very shiny, very effulgent, yellow in color, very expensive. The child will go in the market and I say, I want gold. It is shining, effulgent, golden and expensive. So the sabji merchant may say, I have a pumpkin, you see. It is shining because I have inserted chemicals in it. It is yellow, it is effulgent. And yeah, it's very expensive, 20,000 rupees for one pumpkin. The child will come home with a pumpkin. Say this is gold. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you don't know what is gold, you will get cheated. Similarly, if you don't know who is the guru and what is the definition of a guru, you will always be cheated. Did you understand the definition of a guru? This is not the complete definition of guru, but this is the fundamental definition of guru. That a man of knowledge or a guru should have these 6 urges in his control. The urge to speak, the urges of the mind, the demands of the anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals. Complete control. Only such a person can be called or is worthy to be called as a guru. Next time when you meet a guru, good guru, bad guru, XYZ guru, test them on this criteria. There are some gurus who are very good at, what can I say, elocution skills, poetic word jewelry, and when they will speak, they will like charm you. But if you hear them for 10 minutes, not even once in 10 minutes they will speak about Krishna. Not even once they will quote the Bhagavad Gita. Not even once they will speak from the scriptures. The scriptures say anybody who does not speak on the basis of scriptures, their speech should be ignored completely, because there is no basis of what they are speaking. Their speech will be, I think, I feel, in my opinion, according to me, I believe, blah, blah, blah. That is how they talk. There is one good guru in the market. He calls himself good guru. He says, I have never read the Bhagavad Gita. The best thing which I did was that I remained uneducated. Somebody asked him, what's the Bhagavad Gita? He gave a 20 minutes talk on what is the Bhagavad Gita, without reading the Bhagavad Gita. It's like, I've never read neurosurgery, but I know everything about neurosurgery. Will you come and slap me? What I'm speaking is complete nonsense. That good guru says, I have never read the scriptures, but I know the scriptures. I have never read any scripture, but every book which I write, everybody should read. Don't you think this is nonsense? I have never read any scriptures. I never served my spiritual master. But I want you to accept me as guru. And whichever book I write or whatever nonsense I say, you should follow. Sir, what do you follow? I don't follow anything, but you should follow. Does it make sense? You are confused. Does it make sense? What I am saying is making sense or not? See, it is very obvious. Even when the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, comes, even he quotes from scriptures. In the Bhagavad Gita, at least on 2 occasions, Krishna is quoting the opinion of other Jnanis. Now, why does God need to quote others? Because that is the way of speech. You have to quote the previous authorities. Who is a greater authority than God? Nobody. But still, he is giving quotations. Even God goes to the Gurukul and serves a spiritual master. Even God respects see that photo. Krishna is washing the lotus feet of Sudama. Why does God need to do that? This is the knowledge, meaning of knowledge. Another meaning of knowledge is Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu. That's there in the Bhagavad Gita also. We can recite it together. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Shvapakecha Panditaha Samadarshinaha. The humble sage is by virtue of true knowledge. See with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. What does this mean? How many of you understood simply by reading this translation? Nobody can understand simply by reading. Therefore, we need a Bhagavad Gita as it is with us, where after reading the translations, you can read the purport of what this book actually means. Because I have read the purport, so I can explain it. So this verse basically means the humble sage, or a person who is Vidya Vinaya Sampanna. When he meets a Brahmana and when he meets a dog, he sees them at the spiritual platform and treats them accordingly. When he meets a Brahmana, he sees, okay, here is a Brahmana. Shama, Dama, Titikshaiva, Shanti, Marja, Muriya, Jnana, Vidyana, Mastikyam, Brahma, Karma, Svabhavati. Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, sloka number 42. The 9 qualities of a Brahmana. So you see, all these 9 qualities are there. Amazing. You must have got some real good training. He must have certainly done some good activities in his previous life also. So therefore, he has the body of a Brahman. So what can I do? What can I do to help him progress in his journey back home, back to God? Okay, I should invite him in my house. I should request him to do some Bhagavad Gita lecture or Bhagavad lecture. And so that he can maintain his livelihood, I should give him some good dakshina. So that he can continue his job of Pathan, Pathan, Yajan. He is an intelligent personality, visionary, sense-controlled, austere, sublime, knows the essence of religion. So why should he struggle so hard in a factory? Let me give him, it's my job. I am not so intelligent, so let me serve him. And let me give him some dakshina so that his life is free of anxiety and he can focus on Brahma Jigyasa. In this way, I can help him in his journey back home, back to God. Now here comes a dog. Suddenly, this dog was a very lusty person in his previous life. That is why he has got a dog's body in his life. So what can I do for the dog so that he will advance in his journey back home, back to God? I cannot call the dog in the Bhagavad Gita class and ask him to sit down and listen. It is not possible. So the only way in which I can help the dog is to give him some prasad. Give him something nice which you have cooked and offered to Krishna. And after eating it, he will get some sukrit. After eating prasad, he will get some good fortune. And probably in next life again he will revive a human form and become Krishna conscious. Who knows? So you see, equal treatment doesn't mean that I will embrace the Brahmana also and I will kiss the dog also. Equal treatment means to treat them differentially in a way so that they progress in their journey back home, back to God. So equal treatment means treating people not at the bodily platform but at the spiritual. This is the meaning of equal treatment. Similarly, a dog eater. People who eat dogs, according to the Vedic literatures and the Vedic culture, they are the lowest and the most degraded people on this earth. The scriptures have given a specific name for it as Chandal. How many of you know some Chandals? It's a fact. A person who eats a dog is a Chandal. And according to the Vedic society, the Vedic people, or the people who are cultured, they do not associate with Chandalas. However, even if a Chandal comes, how to treat him equally? The Chandal cannot demand that you are treating the Brahmana like that, you are treating me like that. You are not being equal. No. A Brahmana has to be treated in a different way so that he can progress in Krishna consciousness. Similarly, a Chandala who is unclean, who is a dog eater, who has no good discrimination in life, whose senses are not in control, we can't make him sit on the Vyasasana. So the Chandala has to be told that first you have bath and then come to the temple. We'll give you some prasad. But before taking prasad, clean the temple. Take a broom and do some seva. And after you have done some seva, come and have prasad. And after prasad, you can lie down and take rest. In this way, we can help the Chandal to give up his sinful activities and have some prasad and engage in Krishna's service. In this way, we can help him to progress in his journey back home, back to God. So this is called equal treatment. And a person who treats people on the spiritual platform is a Pandit, according to Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, shloka number 18. How many definitions of knowledge have we seen till now? 3. Can somebody summarize what were they? First one? Chanakya Pandit, what did he say?
Treating other women as a mother.
Okay, yes. Matravat Pradareshu. Next. Paradraveshu Lostravat. Next. Atmavat Sarva Bhuteshu Yapashati Sa Pandita. That is the first definition. Second definition of knowledge was
Control of all things.
The 6 urges have to be under control. What were they? The urges of the speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, genitals. And one who has controlled these 6 urges is a man of knowledge and has a right to become guru. That was the definition of guru. And the third definition of knowledge is equal vision, distinctive treatment. Equal vision at the spiritual platform and distinctive treatment so that people progress in their journey back home, back to God. Clear? How many of you are feeling happy to know these definitions of knowledge? How many of you already knew this from before? कुछ नया नहीं बता रहे हैं, सब मालूम था. अरे हमको क्या समझना है, हम तो बचपन से जानते हैं, हमसे तुम समझो. Are you feeling happy? Is it helping you in your spiritual life? These things you will not get in newspaper, okay? Or on internet also. Now, problem. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 shloka number 67. Indrayanam hi charatam yan mano anudhiyate tadasya harati prajnam vayurnavam ivamasi. As a strong wind sweeps away the boat on water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focus can carry away a man's intelligence. Meaning to say, even if you have knowledge, but even if one of your senses are roaming around, then it can carry away your intelligence. That means knowledge and intelligence in itself is not sufficient. I repeat, knowledge and intelligence in itself is not sufficient to save you from a sinful life. It is very good to have knowledge and intelligence, but it is not the whole and soul. You need something more. How many of you think that you have knowledge to some degree, and despite having knowledge, you make mistakes? How many of you are in this category? All of us are in that category. Some people are just smiling, not raising hands. देखते हैं क्या होता है. No need to raise hand. We know that you are in that category. Everybody is in this category. So what is the solution to this? And what is the reason of we falling in this category? The answer is something which I discussed in the previous class. Arjuna also asks this question. Athakena prayukto yam papam charati purusha anichannapi vashnaya baladiva niyojita. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to do sinful acts even unwillingly as if engaged by force? How many of you have experienced this, what Arjuna is asking to Krishna? That I'm impelled to do sinful activities even when I don't want to do them, as if I'm engaged by force. How many of you have experienced this in your life? Now everybody is there, except you. कुछ लोगों का टाइम लगेगा. Maybe they have some spondylitis or something. हाथ ही नहीं उठाएंगे. So last class, you remember I showed you a flowchart of fall down. Where it starts? Who can tell me?
Contemplating on sense.
Contemplating on sense objects gives rise to attachment. Attachment gives rise to lust. Lust gives rise to anger. Anger gives rise to
Every other.
anger gives rise to, according to Bhagavad Gita, bewilderment. Bewilderment gives rise to loss of memory. Loss of memory leads to corrupted intelligence, and that leads to sinful activities. It was Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, shloka number 62 and 63. Again I am showing that close up. Meditating on sense objects, lust, anger, memory loss, and then you know what? If somebody can understand the Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, shloka number 62 and 63, they will become marketing guru. How many of you agree? ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसाम्. क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में मत है? संगस्तेषुपजायते. क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है? संगात् संजायते कामात्. मेरे टूथपेस्ट में नमक नहीं. कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते. मेरे टूथपेस्ट में नमक क्यों नहीं है? खरीदना पड़ेगा. उसके बाद I will not explain. So basically, when we meditate on sense objects, that leads to attachments. Attachment leads to lust. Lust, whether fulfilled or unfulfilled, in both cases it leads to frustration and anger. Lust can never be fulfilled by God. And anger leads to bewilderment. Bewilderment leads to loss of memory. That means you forget the purpose of your life. Why you are here for? Are you here just to pay your bills and die? Or are you here just to keep getting hikes? Or is there any higher purpose in life? And that leads to corruption of intelligence. When you forget who you are, you cannot have discriminative power. And when you lose your intelligence, that means the discriminatory power, you are ready to do anything. Anything means anything. So therefore, how many of you think who fell in this flowchart, how many of you are fully convinced that all of them who fell in this flowchart didn't have knowledge or were not men of knowledge? There is a great possibility, even the greatest of yogis like Vishwamitra, who can say Vishwamitra didn't have knowledge? Everybody will say he had knowledge. But why did this happen? So therefore, we conclude that knowledge and intelligence in itself is not sufficient. Even great people make mistakes, and we say to err is human. Can you give me some examples of some great personalities who made some grave mistakes? Why do you say that Ravan is a great personality? What is your definition of greatness?
He has so many qualities towards Vedas or even Ayurvedic and also towards...
Were you present in the first 15 minutes discussion of this class? That's why you missed the most important point. The sign of knowledge means good character and sense control. Did Ravana had these two qualities? Therefore, he was not a great personality. That's why he was a demon. Are you a demon? Are you a demon? No? Are you sure? Okay, give me an example of please don't mind. According to Bhagavad Gita, according to Vedic culture, Ravana was not a great personality. If anybody says that he was a great personality, he is also a demon. Because only a demon, birds of a feather flock together. These days there is some counter culture which is happening that Ram is not good but Ravan was great. मुझे राम जैसा पति नहीं रावण जैसा भाई चाहिए. These kind of statements are there in the social media. What did Ram do? He banished his wife. Better to have a brother like Ravan who will die for you. Did you know that Ravan killed the husband of his own sister? Would you like to have such a brother? So give me some example of some good people, great people who made mistakes. Give me one example. Okay. Yes.
Taking oath that he will not sit on the kingdom. That changed the history of.
Can you give me some examples which is not controversial, which is little obvious? What you say is correct, but if there may be many people who may disagree.
I disagree.
You see, he is straight away disagreeing. So can you give me some obvious examples that here is a great person and he made a mistake. He had knowledge, he had intelligence, but he made a mistake. Sorry?
Shakuni.
Shakuni. How is he a great personality?
Krishna told that you are having correct knowledge, but you implemented in the
Can you
wrong
give me
way.
the reference where Krishna told to Shakuni? In your WhatsApp message he told? Or on Quora he told? See, this is Gita class. Nothing, no nonsense will be accepted. If you can give reference, if you can give some Shastrik Praman, we will accept it. If you can give Shastrik Praman that your father's father was a monkey, we will accept. But if you cannot give Shastrik Praman, we reject that men came from monkeys. I hope you got the message. Yes. Yudhishthira. What mistake he made?
The mistake that he made was he was not supposed to put his wife and his brother on the.
Here is a man of knowledge. Here is a man of intelligence. Made a mistake.
Arjun.
Yes, sir. Arjun, what mistake he made? युद्ध नहीं करेंगे. नॉलेज था, इंटेलिजेंस था, फिर भी शरीर भाव में फंस करके उन्होंने कहा कि मैं युद्ध नहीं करूंगा. अपने कर्तव्य का बोध नहीं रहा हूं. Any other example? Okay. Who is saying current?
Vehicle number 7543 7503 75303D.
इतना सारे numbers. All the vehicles, those who have some vehicles, please check.
7543 and 7503D. Two vehicles.
7543 7503.
7503D. 7543.
7543 किसका है? Whenever some uninterrupted intense Krishna Katha is going on, if some interruption is not coming, that means it is not intense. So this was a sign that we are doing good job. Because Kali Yuga becomes very disturbed when they see, oh, these people are becoming Krishna conscious. So somebody said, Karna is a great personality. Please raise your hand. Yes. What mistake he made?
He knows that he was taking the wrong side, but still, he didn't work.
Okay, so he did not follow the instructions of Krishna. I thought great people are those who follow the instructions of Krishna. If somebody is not following the instructions of Krishna, how can they be great? But I take your answer. I rejected Ravana. At least Karna I should accept. Otherwise, Mataji will say that kuch bhi bolte hain, whatever I say, he says no. Only for your and Karna's happiness, we accept it. Dronacharya. Agreed, he is a great personality. What mistake he made?
He was a teacher, but still he taught politics in educating. Right? Ideally, he should have.
You said in educating right. You are asking me a question, right?
No. I'm saying that.
You said the word right with a question mark. There only I stop you. Wrong. See, I'm not against you. I'm just saying that. Okay, you complete your statement.
I mean, he should have accepted Karna and Eklavya as your, like pupils, right? But
I don't think he should have accepted. What he did was right.
because he is a teacher and he
No.
should be.
Teacher doesn't mean that you will start teaching terrorists also.
But the moment they came to him, they were not.
Please try to understand what is the job of the teacher first.
He rejected based on the caste.
No prompting. If you want to say something, if you have some Shastrik Praman, if you can back it up with some evidence, raise your hand, speak properly. No group speaking. His statement is Dronacharya should have accepted Karna and Eklavya. My answer is no, and I will give you some references and reasons. Eklavya. See, in the previous ages, people were begotten by Garbhan Samskar. The Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, they used to not unite as cats and dogs. At least the Brahmanas and the Kshatriyas, and 50% of the Vaishyas also. People 5,000 years ago were not engaging in sex life for enjoyment. They were engaging in sex life for child production only. And that had some samskaras. There are some 10 samskaras to get a child. And when you get a child with Gardan samskar performed, then you attract the right kind of soul in the womb. That is why earlier the son of a great king used to be a great king. The son of a great Brahmana used to be a great Brahmana. But in Kali Yuga, Kalam Shudra Sambhava, one who has not been begotten by Gardan Samskar is a Shudra. Because the consciousness the parents have at the time of uniting, that decides the consciousness of the child. Eklavya was basically a rebel. He was begotten in a Shudra family. He did not have the etiquette of taking permission from the Guru before accepting him as Guru. You cannot say that I have accepted Prabhupada as my Guru and he is my spiritual master. You should have confirmation from Prabhupada also that I am accepting. Guru-Shishya relationship is a two-way thing. It cannot be a one-way. Secondly, those who have not been begotten by Gardan Samskar, their mind and senses are not in control. A person whose mind and senses are not under control, he cannot be given divine or celestial weapons like Brahmastra and Divyastra. They will completely misuse it. Dronacharya saw this fault in Eklavya. First of all, he is not of divine origin, number one. Number two, he did not have the etiquette of taking permission from a guru and corresponding with the guru with his permission. Number third, his senses were not under control. This is the most important thing. His senses were not under control, and those people whose senses are not in control, they do not deserve higher knowledge. Because if they get it, they will misuse it. Like the terrorists. When they get a nuclear weapon, what they do with it? So these were the reasons which Dronacharya saw in Eklavya. And he told him that you have not done the right thing. Tadavidhi pranipadena, reference. Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, sloka number 34. The process of knowledge, the process of approaching a spiritual master, the process of becoming a disciple. Tadavidhi pranipadena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. First one has to approach a spiritual master and serve him. And the spiritual master should accept. It is completely dependent on the discretion and the will of the spiritual master whether he will accept or not. You cannot find faults with the spiritual master. If a spiritual master says, I will not give you initiation and I'm sorry I cannot accept you as a disciple, you should go somewhere else. You cannot fault find with him. That you are a guru, you are a pizza machine. I will come and put this money in you, you have to give me a pizza. Otherwise you are not a good pizza machine or a guru. I am a teacher. I can decide to teach someone the Bhagavad Gita and not teach someone. So this is a policy. And by the way, Eklavya was not qualified for the kind of knowledge he was aspiring for. One second, I will come to you. Please, hold on. So these were the faults in Eklavya's character. And later on you will see, whom did Eklavya associate with? He could have proven Dronacharya wrong with his character. But later on we see his character was not good. He was taking side with Jarasandha. He was taking sides of Shishupal. He was going against Krishna. This itself is the proof that Dronacharya judged him right in the first place. Yes sir, please.
Entire forum should not be distributed.
Sorry?
Entire Duryodhana and all took their training under
Yes.
Dronacharya.
But at least they had the
They were
etiquette.
also against Krishna, they were against...
Listen. At least they had the etiquette.
What you say is completely controversial. Because you are, one way we are telling you...
Duryodhan's mind and sense.
It's promoting untouchability and like what you say.
Thank you for your inputs and comments. But please consider Duryodhana as a Kshatriya was more mind controlled and sense controlled than.
History doesn't.
See what? See.
Bhagavad Gita itself becomes because of Duryodhana.
Yes.
Not
I agree.
Means
You are right.
Character assassination in person just to prove it.
No. See,
That was like what you said in Kshatriya was a fact.
let's take Bhagavad Gita and discuss. Tad vidhi pranipati. One has to approach a spiritual master.
But why Dronacharya took his finger thumb? If he is not going to let him know the benefit of God, that means he is partial.
See,
He is controlling his
See, if you are ready to listen, I can talk. But if you have come with a preconceived notion, I cannot have discussion. I am not here to satisfy you or prove myself right or yourself wrong. I am here to discuss the Bhagavad Gita. If you can accept the Bhagavad Gita, I can talk to you. But if you cannot accept the Bhagavad Gita and if you have come with preconceived notions, I am sorry, I can't help you. I am not here to say what I know. I am repeating the words of the scriptures and I am repeating the words of my seniors and ultimately the acharyas. I am not presenting my opinion. I don't have any personal enmity with Karna or Dushasan or Shakuni or whoever, or even with you. I am here to present the version of the Bhagavad Gita. See, I am here to present the version of the Bhagavad Gita. If somebody thinks Ravana is a great personality, I can't help him. If somebody is thinking Eklavya is a very great personality, I can't help him. Have you read the Mahabharata? How many parvas are there in Mahabharata? How many chapters are there in Mahabharata? How many verses are there in Mahabharata? Other than B.R. Chopra's serial, have you ever seen anything else apart from Mahabharata? So please get the Mahabharata text and read it, no? Ved Vyas has written Mahabharata, read Ved Vyas's opinion on Eklavya. Don't make your opinion from Kora and B.R. Chopra. Take knowledge from the right source. Listen to what Ved Vyas's commentary is there. I'm repeating Ved Vyas's commentary. And if you have any respect for Ved Vyas, you should accept it. You go and talk to Ved Vyas. He's sitting in Uttar Badrikashram. Go and meet him. That boss, you have analyzed Eklavya's character wrong. You are the literary incarnation of Krishna, but you wrote it wrong in Mahabharata. I'm sorry I'm speaking like this, but if you come with preconceived notions, I can't help. I'm not sitting here to do character assassination. I'm just here to speak the truth. What I have heard from my seniors and what I have heard from the acharyas. I have full faith in the version of the acharyas. I don't have complete faith in my own assessment, in my own intelligence and in my own mind. But I have full faith in the versions of the acharyas. The reason why I don't put full faith in my own assessment because I'm a lusty person. The day my heart will become free from lust, anger, greed, illusion, enviousness and attachments, I will start trusting my assessments and my mind. But I'm not in that category. I'm not a Siddha Purush. I'm not a Paramahamsa. So therefore I take the version of the acharyas. And according to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Eklavya was not a qualified person for higher knowledge. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Any other examples of great people who made some mistakes? Indra, okay. What mistake he made? Yes, he made a mistake twice. He fought with Krishna twice. Now, Indra is not some ordinary personality. Generally, Indra is represented as a very, probably some people will compare Indra to Eklavya also. Or they will compare Indra to Ravana also. No. Indra is actually a very evolved personality. The qualification to become an Indra, if you read, it's a very, very high quality. That is why he is the king of all demigods. People like Ravana made mistakes on a daily basis. Indra made mistakes once in 10 or 15 yugas. But we remember that. Compare your life with Indra. You make mistakes on a daily basis. But Indra makes one mistake in 4 or 5 yugas, and we take that and we kill him. Oh, you are Indra. So Indra is definitely a great person. And he made a mistake. He went to the Kshira Sagar and he prayed that, my Lord, you please incarnate and save us, along with Brahma and other demigods. But when Krishna actually came and did the Govardhan Leela, he forgot the identity of Krishna in anger. Next time again, when one of the wives of Krishna, Satyabhama, wanted a Parijat tree, at that time Indra had seen the Govardhan Leela and he was fully aware that Krishna is Supreme Personality. But again he fought with him. So that's why Indra is also making mistakes. So the point which we are trying to conclude here is knowledge and intelligence is not sufficient. So what do you need after that? Apart from knowledge and intelligence, what do you need?
Sense control.
What is the title of today's discussion?
Guidelines.
You need a guide. Example is Arjuna. All of us agree that Arjuna was a very, very great personality. In this, I think there will be no disagreement anywhere. We all know the incident of Urvashi, how he was self-controlled to reject Urvashi also. How many of you think you can reject Urvashi? You cannot reject her if she comes to you. Let me be honest. He was very respectful to the elders. He was a prince who had such great military skills. Do you think he was always agreeing with Yudhishthira? He was not always in agreement with Yudhishthira, but he never went against Yudhishthira. Now, do you think that is easy to do? You have so much power, so much strength. Everywhere you go, all the kings surrender to you. But your brother has decided that I will accept this injustice and go for an exile for 13 years. Arjuna could have told, no, there is no need to go for exile. Just let me pick up my bow and let me kill everyone. Who will challenge me? But he didn't do that. He had respect for elders. And we all know this Draupadi Swayamvar thing. Looking at the fish by looking at the water below or the mirror below, shooting. How much concentration is required for that? At this point of time, I remember another incident. This is a very great pastime of Arjuna, where he's sitting in the Draupadi Swayamvar and he is looking at the fish which is moving and seeing the reflection of it in water or oil which is below and seeing down and shooting up. Krishna also had to, Kshatriyas, they have to generally fight and show their valor before marrying. So Krishna had many wives, and one of the wives, I just forget her name, her father had kept the criteria that you don't even have to look below. Keep the whole Draupadi Swayamvar and remove the oil or the mirror from below. That was the test which Krishna passed. Even without looking anywhere, just by hearing, he shot the arrow in the eye of the fish. I'm just saying that Krishna was a better archer than Arjuna also, because he's God. Anyways, coming to this situation, Arjuna was knowledgeable, he was cultured, and he was an expert. But even he felt the need of a guide. Now the question here is, what is my attitude? Am I ready to accept help from someone? Most of us fail here only. Our Indian education system or our society has made us such that if there is a situation where I don't know something, I'm a very bad person. This happens with our children when they go to school, and if they say, if they are very ashamed to say that I don't know, because everybody looks down upon them. It is very shameful to not know something. It is very shameful to be corrected. It is very shameful to agree that I am not perfect. And the most shameful thing is to accept the fact that yes, I need help. And this is because of our ego. And that is the main reason why most of us, we cannot truly take help. I was 13, 14 years and I started learning guitar. It is a personal experience which I am sharing. 6 months I practiced really nice. Every day in the morning I used to get up, go on the terrace 1 hour, and then in the evening 1 hour. And whole day I used to keep meditating on the notations and the ragas and the sur. So guitar is an instrument where you can give the sur as well as, you can give some strumming which gives the rhythm or the tal. So sur and tal combination both is there in the guitar. So I used to meditate a lot upon it. In 6 months, I caught up very, very nicely. I started playing on the assembly of my school, in the assembly of my school. I started leading the music club of my school. My music perception had become so strong that simply by hearing a particular song, I used to be able to judge what is the chord, what is the notations. I didn't need any notations to play. Simply by hearing, I was able to play. So my teacher was very happy with me. And he told me that now you can practice on your own. This is a very great statement. What he meant was that I should continue what I am doing and I should continue the practice and keep learning. But I misunderstood his statement. I understood that you need not come to classes anymore. So I stopped going to classes, and as a result, I stopped learning. But I was thinking I am a great guitarist. Whenever any inter-school competition used to happen, or whenever any nice gathering used to happen, they used to invite me. I used to go with my head held high and a guitar like this. But I was struggling. Internally, there are many things which I didn't know. So once on the stage, I met another person who was sitting on the synthesizer, and he was also a guitarist. And he noticed some flaw in my tuning of the guitar. And he noticed some flaw the way I was playing. So he guided me that you should do this. You know what I said? Apna kaam karo, mere ko mat batao. At 13 years of age, I told him, I know, I don't need your help. And that time he told me, because you don't need help, that's why you are so pathetic. And it's a fact. It's a real fact. Because I was not willing, my attitude was such that I was not willing to take help from seniors. That is why after a certain stage, I could not grow as a musician or as a guitarist. I'm telling you my personal experience. Had I accepted help from him that day, and had I allowed him to help me, I would have been a better musician today. But because I didn't take help, and because I nourished my false ego, that's why after some time my taste in guitaring also went away. And now I am a nobody as far as guitaring is concerned. Just somehow sometimes I play on Janmashtami or something here and there I do. So the question is, am I ready to accept help from someone? I consider myself as an arrogant fool for not having taken help from the right people at the right time. But now that I have some sense and some wisdom by the mercy of my spiritual masters, I'm trying to change my attitude. And I'm here to explain it to you, all of you, that if you also relate to me and my experiences, then you should also think about changing the attitude. Because Arjuna could take help in the Bhagavad Gita, that's why we are talking about him today. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhava prichhami pam dharma sammudha cheta yat shriyasyan nishchitam puruhitanme shishyasteham sadhimam pam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of my miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. It is not easy to speak like this. It requires a lot of bravery, it requires a lot of humility, and it requires a lot of submissiveness to speak like this. And those who speak like this, they get help. Now you tell me, if somebody is telling you how to improve in your life, who is the beneficiary? You are the beneficiary provided you take that suggestion. Now the biggest problem in our life, in our material life and spiritual life, is that we don't want help from others. We have to understand it is okay not to be perfect. It is okay not to know everything. It is okay to be wrong, and it is okay to ask for help. This, if we can understand, then we can crack this whole situation. So therefore, we must give privilege to someone in our life to correct us. If we do not give this privilege at least to someone, the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadriddhi pranipaten pariprashnena seva. First you surrender to Guru, then you render service and win his heart. And then when you have a relationship, sambandha with him, then ask questions. Not that I'm in a very challenging spirit. I'm in a no mood to accept you as a mentor or a guide. I have never served or done any service to you, helped you in your projects, but I have many, many questions for you. Sometimes we do this. In fact, this is a very secret science. Sometimes we go to various seminars and various sessions and we ask questions. Tell me this, tell me that, tell me this, tell me that. Even if the Acharya gives us the answer, we will never understand until we serve the Acharya. Please understand, this is a very, very secret principle. Even if we are inquiring about the supreme absolute truth from the Acharyas, until we render service to them, we cannot understand and grasp what they say. That's why Krishna says, Tadriddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshi. You can go from one ISKCON temple to another ISKCON temple asking questions. But until and unless you stop somewhere and choose to make a relationship with some guide, and until and unless you serve that guide, whatever that guide is saying will not penetrate into the core of your heart. Therefore, you cannot understand, you cannot apply. So, accepting a guru is not a fan club. I like the way you smile, so I want to be your disciple. I like the way you do kirtan, I want to be your disciple. I like the way you give explanations on Bhagavad Gita, I want to be your disciple. I like the way you play the harmonium and mridanga, I want to be your disciple. I like the way you have the clarity on Vedanta, so I want to be your disciple. So this person is good in Vedanta, I'll ask question. This person is good in Bhagavad Gita, I'll ask question. That person is very good in Kirtan, I'll ask question. No. Stop. Surrender. Serve. Make a relationship. Ask questions. Service. And when the Guru thinks that here is a person who is serving me nicely, it is not necessarily by the spirit of inquiry, but more by the service attitude that the divine knowledge is revealed from the heart of the Guru to the heart of the student. Until unless the Guru feels merciful on me, I cannot advance in transcendental knowledge. I can know 400 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, but I cannot apply it. Until my Guru becomes merciful on me, I cannot become a transcendentalist. Everything is dependent on the mercy of Guru. Now the question is how to evoke that mercy of Guru. Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena seva. Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but even he did this. He went to Gurukul. He surrendered to Sandipananda. He rendered menial service to him. He used to go and collect, he used to beg from door to door, and then he used to bring all the grains to the spiritual master. And when spiritual master used to tell him eat, he used to eat. When he used to not tell him to eat, he used to fast. God is doing this. God can say, no, that I am only, you are my spiritual master, but I am providing you. You are my part and parcel. You should surrender to me. In future, I will tell Bhagavad Gita, But even God, fasted when his guru didn't ask him to eat. Why is God doing all this? Just to teach us. God is the supreme spiritual master, but when he comes in the role of a human being, he accepts, surrenders to a spiritual master. And then when Sandipani Mani became pleased with Krishna, he blessed him. That, my dear son, whenever you will speak, the whole world will hear, and your speech will be eternally famous. Now, because Sandipani Mani blessed Krishna like that, that is why Bhagavad Gita is eternally famous. Did you understand? This is the process of knowledge. So, the whole idea that I cannot be wrong, the whole idea that I should not be corrected, the whole idea that nobody should find faults in me is not a very healthy one. I can go wrong. I can be corrected. I should take guidance. And I should give such privilege of correcting me to at least one person in my life. And that person should be very good. Because if Arjuna can get confused, I am nowhere in comparison to Arjuna. My character is not as good as Arjuna. My intelligence is not as good as Arjuna. My focus and sense control is not as good as Arjuna. And if Arjuna can be in difficulty, despite all the knowledge and all the intelligence, then I can also be in that situation. The greatness of Arjuna is that he accepted his shortcomings and surrendered to Krishna. I can also become great by surrendering to Krishna. Now the question is, am I ready to surrender to Krishna? You had a question.
My question is, Arjuna had not Krishna in front of him. So he knew he is asking the question to the right person.
Yes.
Right? In our general life, apart from spiritual knowledge, how to identify a right person to ask question?
Your question is Arjuna knew. I will simplify your question. Your question is a little bit, 2-3 questions in one question. First question is, Arjuna had Krishna in front of him. So he knew he is asking the right questions to the right person. How do I know that whether I have the right person in front of me or not? I gave you 3 definitions of Guru. Learn those definitions, recite those verses daily, understand it, use it, find the right way. Guru is not a plaything. You cannot say he is my postal Guru. Your next question was apart from spiritual life. You cannot say he is my postal Guru, he is my gadget Guru, he is my marketing Guru, he is my... Guru means Guru. There is no such thing as I have a separate spiritual life and I have a separate material life. You are a spirit soul. Your life should be essentially spiritual. This we explained in the first session and the second session. I think you have missed the sessions. So that's why human life is meant for Brahma Jigyasa. Human life is meant for understanding that I am a part and parcel of God, I am a spirit soul, and reviving my relationship with the Supreme Spirit Soul. That is the highest dharma you have. You can go through the recordings of the first session where we discuss the priorities of all the dharmas. All the great personalities gave spiritual life the highest priority. And those who did not give spiritual life the highest priorities, they are still rotating in the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease, like you and me. So Guru is Guru. Somebody who can tell me who is God and what is my relationship with God and what is my service to God, only he can be called as Guru. Somebody who can give me good advice in terms of gadgets, I cannot call him as a gadget Guru. What did gadgets do to you? It made you an addict, that's all. So a person who guides you to buy a better mobile cannot be a Guru. Guru is someone who helps you to come out of the cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. So don't throw away the word Guru here and there. Now your actual question is, how will I realize am I having the right Guru or not? The answer to that question is anybody who is simply repeating the words of Krishna as it is. Anybody who is simply repeating the words of Krishna as it is a Guru. Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyasi Shudra Kenanoy Jai Krishna Tattva Vitta Say Guru Chaitanya Chaitanya. One should not see who is a greatly learned Brahmana. One should not see who is a Shudra, or one should not see who is a sannyasi. Anybody who knows the science of Krishna is qualified to become a Guru. And anybody who can teach the science of Krishna based on time, place and circumstances without any adulteration is a Guru. Shukracharya was certainly a man of great knowledge. Vibhuti of Krishna. In the 10th chapter, Krishna says, amongst the Pandavas and this, amongst the birds and this, amongst the demigods and this. So amongst the knowledge people, I am Shukracharya. Krishna says. Shukracharya was so knowledge that if you take a dead man to him, he can revive him back to life. But because he didn't know the science of Krishna, so therefore, demigods rejected him. Would you like to have Shukracharya as a guru? Probably you'll say yes. Are you an IT person? Nobody knows better technology than Shukracharya. The greatest technician of this whole universe is Maidana. He can make structures and instruments and technology which is beyond the imagination of people of earth. Those who are very hardcore technologists, in next life they will go to the lower planetary systems. Maybe they'll surrender to Maidana. And Maidana's teacher is Shukracharya. And Shukracharya has Brahma Tejas in him. When he will walk in front of you, you'll feel like naturally surrendering to him. Naturally. But because he is not a Krishna conscious person, that's why his disciple Bali rejected him. When Vaman Dev was there in front of Bali, Bali being the grandson of Prahlad, and when Vaman Dev said that this is the deal, 3 steps, and Bali knew that I'm going to lose everything, and when Shukracharya was opposing him, Bali rejected Shukracharya, saying that the purpose of life is to surrender to Krishna. And here is Krishna standing in front of me, and you are asking me to not surrender to Krishna. I reject you as Guru. He rejected Shukracharya. Guru Tyag. So any Guru which does not ask me to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord, any Guru who teaches me sense gratification, any Guru who takes me away from the path of bhakti, any Guru whose good advice, even if he may be Shukracharya, is taking me away from Krishna, is not a Guru. Jai Krishna Tattva Vitta Say Guru. So anybody who can simply repeat Krishna's message as it is qualified to become a Guru. Did I answer your question? So, although Arjuna had Krishna in front of him, you have the acharyas like Prabhupada in front of you. Just listen from the acharyas. They are repeating Krishna's message. It is, reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita is like hearing from Krishna in the Kurukshetra battlefield. You are standing next to Arjuna. There is no difference. You are the person next to Arjuna when you read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, because it is Bhagavad Gita as it is. No personal interpretations, according to me, I feel, I believe, according to me, your opinion, my opinion, no. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. Dharma comes from Krishna. Whatever Krishna has said has been presented. So, we all agree that simply intelligence and knowledge is not sufficient. We all need a guide in our life. How many of you think we all need a guide in our life? Yes. Now you are also raising hand. That means you are also convinced. So therefore, Krishna says, just try tadvidhi pranipatena. This was the verse I was quoting all the time. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. God is saying this. Does God need a spiritual master? He is the spiritual master of all spiritual masters. But even he is telling that just try to learn the truth by approaching us. First approach a spiritual master. That means first accept somebody as a spiritual master. Then inquire from him submissively, not in a challenging spirit. Then render service to him. You cannot just ask questions, get your answer and go away. Stay in touch, do some seva. The self-realized souls so nicely we are being reminded of the holy names of Krishna. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge to you because they have seen the truth. You know what this means? How the self-realized souls have seen the truth? Because they have served their spiritual master. So another qualification of a guru is that the guru should also come in a Guru Shishya Parampara. Nobody can just wake up from their bed and say one day that I am a guru from today. The right guru. I don't have a spiritual master, I never served a spiritual master. Or rather, my spiritual master, I've never met him. He's there as some great yogi in the Himalayas who existed 5,000 years ago. He is my guru. No, that will not be accepted. We should have a prakat guru. When you go wrong, the guru should be able to hold your collar and shake you up. This is nonsense. That is why I always say, although Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, he is your pre-eminent Shiksha Guru. But if you want to take initiation in ISKCON, you have to go to some disciple of Prabhupada. You cannot say Srila Prabhupada is my spiritual master. Spiritual master Srila Prabhupada is not physically present right now in the planet. You can say I have accepted him as my initiating guru. But how do you know that he has accepted him? You can't say. I cannot say that Rupa Goswami is my spiritual master. I have to go to a follower of Rupa Goswami, Prakat Guru, and serve him. See, these are the symptoms. Approach a spiritual master. That means he needs to be physically present. Can I approach Rupa Goswami? I can only approach the Samadhi of Rupa Goswami and pray. But some follower of Rupa Goswami, definitely I can approach. Can I ask questions submissively from Rupa Goswami? Someone may say, yeah, his books are there, you can get all your answers there. Rupa Goswami will answer me. But what when I am going wrong? Will Rupa Goswami manifest in front of me and correct me? That my dear Acyuta Arjunasakha Das, today what you have done is wrong. You should not repeat. Will Rupa Goswami talk to me like that? There are two kinds of Bhagavats in everybody's life. One is the book Srimad Bhagavatam and one is the person who follows Srimad Bhagavatam. The book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat. Amongst the two, the person Bhagavat holds higher importance because the person Bhagavat can slap you. The book Bhagavat can only tell you what to do, what not to do. But if you don't do it, Bhagavatam cannot stop you. But the person Bhagavat can actually come to your house and say, what is happening, boss? Till when you will continue this nonsense? Stop this nonsense and surrender to Krishna. And if you don't do, तो हम आपके पीछे और दो आदमी लगा देंगे. I will observe where you are going, what you are doing. So this Bhagavatam cannot do, but a person Bhagavat can do. So therefore, the science of knowledge means you have to approach a spiritual master, and spiritual master definition I have already given. Inquire from him submissively, without a challenging spirit. I am not saying this, God is saying this. Pranipatena. That means questions have to be asked in submission and not in a challenging spirit. Render service to him. You cannot just go from one class to another class and keep asking questions. Stop. Serve. Surrender. Then ask questions. Without service, whatever answers you will get, you will never understand. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Any questions, any comments, any disagreements, any challenges? Can I move forward? We'll now discuss different kinds of guru. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says that there is no good guru or bad guru. If somebody is bad, he cannot be a guru. And we gave the definitions of guru also. So there is no such thing as good guru, bad guru, XYZ guru. Guru means guru. However, because of the social misconceptions, there are many people who call themselves as guru. So today we will discuss here the various kinds of bad gurus. Because it is important to know. There is one kind of guru who is called as free advice guru. See the picture. Take my advice, I don't use it anyway. That means these kind of people, they will go on lecturing everybody, but they will not follow themselves. Hey, you should not do this, man. But I saw you were doing it. Hey, don't look at me. You should not. Suppose somebody is a smoker, and with a cigarette in his hand, he is telling smoking is bad. They come in this category, free advice gurus. They just do their work to show that they know a lot. When somebody talks to them, they actually have no idea of the problem in hand. Neither do they have a qualification to speak on that subject matter. Nor they are genuinely interested in our well-being. Next time, they will give free advice to you. Next time when they meet you, they will not follow up also. I give you that free advice. Did it work for you? No, they'll just give free advice and go ahead. And they do it as a matter of self-gratification. Just to satisfy their own ego, they go around giving advice. How many of you have seen such free advice gurus? They are all around. They are all around us. Our colleagues, our friends, our relatives. Even the sugarcane juice seller who is standing outside our apartment is a free advisor. You go to him with some problem, full advice you give. There was a gentleman who was suffering from some disease. This sugarcane juice seller was giving him advice about surgery also. Free advice. I asked him one question. That did that sugarcane juice wala ever inquire about you after giving you the suggestion? And the answer was no. He never followed up. That I asked you not to do surgery. Did it help you or not? So that means they do not have compassion in their heart. They do not have concern in their heart. All they want is to just speak and establish their opinion. So this kind of personality is not a guru. Please don't consider him as guru. We advise gurus. Other kind of gurus is the exploiting gurus. Give me some example of exploiting gurus. Hint. See the photo and the images which I have put there. Very good. And the legal people. Lawyers, yeah. You have to literally surrender to them. Anybody has fought a legal battle? Anybody, any legal battle, criminal battle? Half murder? Half murder is not actually a murder. I slapped you and then you fell down, you got hurt, and that's a half murder. So you are not a legal person, you don't know the legal implications, you have to actually rely on everything which the lawyer has to say. Literally you have done tadvithi pranipatena to the lawyer. And most of the cases what these lawyers do, you know, the lawyer who is on your side and the lawyer on the opposite side, they are friends. They go outside and eat jalebis made out of ghee together. And then they bond over those jalebis and they say, let's extend this case for the next 6 years. Next hearing, you give this argument, I'll give this argument. We'll keep getting our permission. Just like many people, they go out just to make money. So these lawyers are also there they are not there for justice. They are there for their udarbhara. So they are one kind of exploiting gurus. Similarly, any doctors here? Medical doctors, not PhD doctors. How many of you feel that the doctors around you, they are here a genuine well-wisher, family doctor, genuine well-wisher? When I fell sick once, I was there in the doctor's cabin. Those days WhatsApp was not there. Text messages used to come a lot. So at that time I was working, and this doctor was a friend of mine. He used to joke with me a lot. One message came saying the bank balance. So now also it comes. Sometimes. Many times it comes via email. So the doctors happened to see that message, and jokingly he told me, had I known you had so much money, I would have treated some more diseases. अगर मुझे पता होता कि तुम्हारे पास इतना पैसा है तो मैं तुम्हारी कुछ और बीमारियों का इलाज करता. Although he said it jokingly, but that is the reality. I am not against doctors. I respect them. I have high respect for them. But most of the times, this whole profession as a doctor, especially with the upsurge of the private hospitals, has become a target business. Every doctor gets a target. 5 surgery, these many hospital admissions, these many medicine prescriptions. If you can do this, you will fit in the bell curve and you can be a doctor here. If you cannot fit in this, please, you leave. The doctors are under so much pressure to do surgeries. Once I went to an ENT surgeon, or an ENT doctor. ENT means ear and throat. And I was having cough. I cannot believe till date what that doctor told me. You are getting this cough because one of the bones in your nose is not straight. So we have to do a surgery so that that bone becomes straight, and then you will not have coughing. After 3 days, that cough went away. And he was asking me to do surgery. That day I realized. Exploiting guru. So I'm just giving 2 examples. There are many other exploiting gurus. Okay, the children here, Hare Krishna. You have to maintain silence, please. I think your kids' class is over. In the Vedic society, 3 things are free: justice, chikitsa or medicine, and education. Education, medicinal treatments, and justice are free in the Vedic society. And now these 3 have become the biggest money attracting agencies. Look at the educational institutions, look at these coaching institutions. What sense of responsibility they have, I tell you. They will give one entrance examination's name. They will take admission of 1,000 students. From all of them, they will take 3 lakhs rupees. And even if no one of them qualifies, it's not their problem. Aapka bacha kharab, kya kare? Don't you think this is daylight theft and dacoity? Huh? Absolutely. These coaching institutions, they are making money like anything. I went to one coaching institution, I will not take names. I went to one coaching institution that I want to come weekly once. I see that your students, once they come out of the education, your center, it's as if like they are coming out of jail. And they immediately go and smoke and drink, and do all those nonsense things. So I can analyze that there is a lot of stress which you are putting in your coaching institution with your constant exams and this kind of pressure which you are generating. Your students definitely need a class on Bhagavad Gita. So I want to come weekly once and give a lecture on Bhagavad Gita related to stress management or character development. Guess what they told to me? They said we don't have time. We are busy cracking the entrance examination. how many entrance examinations will be cracked, only Krishna knows. If they are really serious, they should return the money. I claimed as the best coaching institute of the world, and I had the best teachers of the universe, and I took your child who is the best in the society, and I took your money which is best and hard earned, and now no result came. I should return. No. This is called as responsibility-free theft and debt. Therefore, I don't like such educational institutions. Therefore, in ISKCON, we don't charge any money for any course. It is pay as you like more. If you like these Gita courses, the hundi is here. Give what you give. If you like the Khichdi Prasadam, which we serve, sponsor one. We don't ask you. It is up to you. This is the Vedic system. The acharyas, the teachers would never ask money. The students would give some Guru Dakshina on their own before leaving. That is the system in Vedic culture. Education, justice and medicine should be free. But now these three things have become, and those who know these three things, those who know how to give education, those who know how to give medicine, those who know how to give justice, they are our exploiting gurus. Do all of you agree with me? Am I speaking some nonsense here? Or am I speaking the reality?
Reality.
Thank you very much. So then the question comes, who is a real guru? A real guru is our well-wisher. A real guru is compassionate. A real guru is not exploitative. And most importantly, a real guru is selfless. So therefore, this is the definition of a real guru from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 3, chapter 25, shloka number 21. Titikshavaha karunikaha suhridah sarvadehinam ajat shatravah shantaha sadhavah sadhubhushanah. A guru is a sadhu. And what are the symptoms of a sadhu? The number one symptom is that he is tolerant. Number two, he is merciful. Number three, he is friendly to all living entities. He is not just friendly to human beings, he is friendly to the cow also, to the hen also, to the goat also, to the fish also, and to the egg also. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. Most importantly, he abides by the scriptures. That means he knows what are the scriptures and he lives a life according to the scriptures. Why? Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that those who don't abide by the scriptures, they neither achieve peace, nor a happiness, nor a higher destination. It is Krishna's order that if you live a life out of your own whims and fancies, you will not get peace, happiness, and a higher destination. So therefore, a sadhu cannot say that I have never read the Bhagavad Gita. A sadhu cannot say that you should also not read the Bhagavad Gita. A sadhu cannot say that the best thing which I did was I remained uneducated. I didn't read the scriptures. Mind is like a parachute, it works only when it is open. Scriptures make it narrow. I don't know why Krishna studied the scriptures in Samyukta Muni's ashram. I don't know why Krishna said that those who don't live by the scriptures, they neither get peace, happiness, or a higher destination. Probably these so-called gurus are more intelligent and more advanced than Krishna also. Post that. And they are making comments about God in their lectures. In some places, these so-called gurus, they say, I know better than God. I want to expose such gurus. It is people like us who go and sit in front of them. That's why they get this bala to speak. If we can kindly start being a little bit rational, that you, Mr. XYZ, You cannot control the bowel movements of your stomach, and you are telling you know better than God. What right you have? You are the number one dog of the society. And because I, so-called educated person, I am coming and sitting and dancing in front of you, I am also a bigger dog than you. So the goal of my life is to expose such exploiters. Because the Bhagavatam says that he abides by the scriptures. Anybody who is not abiding by the scriptures, anybody who doesn't know the scriptures, cannot become a guru. I have no Shastra Gyan, but I am a guru. This is nonsense. It's like saying I have not studied the Constitution of India, but I am the judge of the Supreme Court. It is like saying that I have not studied medicine, but I am sitting in the operation theatre operating your mother-in-law. This is nonsense. If you don't know the scriptures, if you don't know the Shastra, you cannot be a guru. And all his characteristics are sublime. Titikshavaha karnika suhridam sarvadehina ajat shatravaha shanta sadhava sadhubhusha. Shantaha also means that his senses are alert. Ajat shatravaha means he has no enemies. Now, is there anybody on this planet who has no enemies? Don't say your name. I have no enemies. Look at me. Only I am afraid to go to my house. No, it may be possible that an Acharya has many enemies. When Srila Prabhupada was there preaching, many people were against him. The spiritual master of Prabhupada, some people plotted against him to kill him. Then how does it fit in this definition of Ajat Shatrava? The answer is, a sadhu may have many enemies, but he does not look at anyone as his enemy. Ajat Shatrava. Maharaj Yudhishthir was a sadhu. He had many enemies, but he did not consider anybody as his enemy. That is what makes you a sadhu. So a guru or a sadhu means you have to be tolerant, you have to be merciful, you have to be friendly to all living entities. You should not look at anybody as your enemy, even if he is standing with a rifle in front of you. You should be peaceful. You should abide by the scriptures, and your characteristics should be sublime. Sublime means not belonging to this world, but belonging to the spiritual world. So this is another qualification of a guru. And the most important qualification of a guru is this. Please repeat with me. Evam parampara praptam. Evam parampara praptam. Imam prajarshayo viduhu. Imam prajarshayo viduhu. Sakalene hamahata. Sakalene hamahata. Yoganashtah param tapa. Yoganashtah param tapa. Bhagavad Gita chapter 4 shloka number 2. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession. Evam parampara praptam. And the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, their succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. That means Guru should come in a Guru Shishya Parampara. You take our Bhagavad Gita as it is, go towards the end of the introduction. There is names of some Gurus, starting from Krishna, ending with A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Guru means you should be a part of some Guru Shishya Parampara. Presently, there are 4 Paramparas who have kept the message of the Vedic culture, the Varnashram Dharma, and the Bhagavad Gita as it is. These 4 Paramparas are Brahma Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya. Gurus coming in these Paramparas can only give you the absolute truth. And these 4 Sampradayas' names have been mentioned in the scripture. The 5th Sampradaya has not been named. Brahma Sampradaya means the Acharya or the first person in this Sampradaya is Brahma. The first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam says, जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्णाभिज्ञस्वरात् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र सर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. This is one shloka of Bhagavatam. So therefore we say Bhagavad Gita is school study, Bhagavatam is college study. One shloka is only so big. So you should be happy that you are having smaller shlokas in Bhagavad Gita. So in the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, it is Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye Muhyanti Yatsurya. Brahma is known as Adi Kavi. Adi Kavi. Kavi, the word Kavi doesn't mean poet. The Kavi means subject. The word Kavi means subject matter expert. That's why in Ayurveda also you have Kaviraj. Kaviraj means one who is very expert in Ayurveda. So Adi Kavi, or the original intellectual living entity, is Brahma. The first living entity, sprouting from taking birth without the help of Mother Lakshmi. Lord Narayan gave him birth just like that. And he was manifested on a golden lotus. So Brahma was revealed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma heard the sound of the flute of Krishna. And by hearing the sound of flute of Krishna, he received the entire Vedic knowledge in his heart. And that knowledge was revealed by Krishna, who is sitting as Paramatma in his heart. So Brahma is the leader of Brahma Sampradaya. And then Brahma gave this knowledge to Narada, Narada gave it to Vyasa, the parampara continues. ISKCON comes in Brahma Sampradaya. ISKCON comes in Brahma Sampradaya. Similarly, there is another Sampradaya, the leader of which is Mother Lakshmi. It's called as Sri Sampradaya. In Brahma Sampradaya, we worship Krishna. In Sri Sampradaya, they worship whom? Krishna, not Mother Lakshmi. It is just that the first person in this Sampradaya is Lakshmi. But the original object of worship is Krishna. Rudra Sampradaya, who will be the first person? Lord Shiva. And whom do they worship in Rudra Sampradaya? Krishna. Not Lord Shiva. Why this? This is the Sampradaya, I am telling you. This is Vedic culture. Sri Sampradaya, they worship Krishna. Brahma Sampradaya, they worship Krishna. Rudra Sampradaya, they worship Krishna. Kumar Sampradaya, they worship Krishna. And in these four Sampradayas, the knowledge of Vedic literature and Bhagavad Gita is intact. Outside these four Sampradayas, it's all mixture khichdi. And these four Sampradayas have been mentioned in the Vedic literature, not by me. Yes.
So the Sampradaya, the name, like the Sri Sampradaya.
The first person in that Sampradaya is the person whose name is.
So literally he is the Guru who is actually.
Yes. So we worship.
His name the Sampradaya.
So we worship Lord Brahma as Guru, as Acharya, not as God. Similarly, we worship Lord Shiva as Guru, as an Acharya, not as God. We worship Mother Lakshmi as Guru, as an Acharya, not as God. Similarly, the four Kumaras, the Manas Putras of Brahma, we worship them as Guru, not as God. Yeah? So, whenever you meet a person who is claiming to be a Guru, the right Guru, you should ask him which Sampradaya you belong to. If he says, I have started my own Sampradaya, then you should say, thank you very much. Are you an engineer? Yeah?
No, I'm an animator.
You are an
Animator.
animator. You studied from some school or college?
Yes.
That school or college was given accreditation by the government of India.
Actually, it's yeah, obviously government.
Otherwise, your certificate has no value. Similarly, taking guidance from a person who doesn't belong to a sampradaya is like studying in a university which does not have affiliation. Understood? Now, whether they call themselves good guru, bad guru, right guru, correct guru, this Baba, that Baba, chutney Baba, samosa Baba. There was a Baba who used to say, eat green chutney with samosa.
Yes.
Problem will be solved. And you know how many people used to go to him for green chutney? very well educated people used to go. You know why these cheats they exist? Because there is a market for it. When people come to ISKCON and when we teach them the right definition of Guru, and when we teach them that you have to wake up early, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex life, no intoxication, they say, Arey Baba. Who will do this much? I don't want the supreme absolute truth. Anything is there cheaply available. I want to continue my life, but I want a stamp that I have a guru also. किधर जाने का है? हाँ, बाबा के पास. बाबा तो नहीं बोलते हैं सर. Baba will never say stop meat eating, stop gambling, stop having unnecessary illicit connections, stop having intoxication. बाबा बोलेंगे खाली 20% मेरे को दे दो और ग्रीन चटनी के साथ समोसा खाओ. Good ना? Cheap guru. अच्छा है. See, not everybody can go to 5-star. ठेला वाला भी चाहिए. I am a rascal. I cannot afford to lead a pious lifestyle. I cannot afford to lead a spiritual lifestyle. So I want a pseudo-spiritual lifestyle. I need a pseudo-guru. And because the majority of the people don't want an actual spiritual master, they need a pseudo-spiritual master. Therefore, all these pseudo-babas and so-called right gurus exist. And the YouTube is filled with them. We should not go and take a rebellion against them. We should just stop hearing from them. उनका market बंद हो जाएगा. Because we are impious, because we are idiots, because we are cheap people, because we don't want the best thing in our life for ourselves. That's why these pseudo gurus they exist. And they have the audacity of calling themselves as a spiritual organization. All they discuss and do is to they teach people how to have peace of mind. The only thing which they will teach is how to calm the mind and do meditation. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ahankara ityam me bhinna prakriti rastudha. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego, they are my separated material energies. And you, Guru, teaching everybody how to calm your mind, which is a material energy of Krishna. Basically, you are teaching them material knowledge, and you have the audacity to call yourself a spiritual organization. You never talk about the soul, you never talk about the reincarnation, you never talk about the laws of karma, you do not talk about the name, form, qualities and pastimes of Krishna. How dare you call yourself as a spiritual master and call your organization as a spiritual organization, when all you deal is to peace of mind? It's not a spiritual science, it's a material science. Bhagavad Gita chapter 7. Because we have not read the Bhagavad Gita, that's why we are cheating. I am controlling my anger by using it in the right way. Whenever I hear such a wrong society being misguided, I become very angry. And I'm very clear, see, in this Gita class, I need not criticize anybody. It's not my job. But if I will not speak up like this, people will not understand what is right and what is wrong. I am not attached to criticism. I just want to help my students understand what is right and what is wrong. That's why I become so animated when I talk. Like this. I have no desire to do it. See, I am happy with my book. But if I don't tell you about the green chutney Baba and about the right Guru who says no need to abide by scriptures, no need to read scriptures, but every book which I write you should read. This is craziness. They call themselves Swamis. They call themselves sannyasis, but they eat fish and they smoke cigarettes. And they call themselves Swamis. A person who cannot control his tongue only, how can he be a spiritualist? A person who is eating beef and calling himself a missionary, how can he be a missionary? A self-realized soul, how can he kill someone and eat? How can you say that there are many spiritual paths? I have taken the spiritual path of eating beef. and I am a messenger of God also. I have taken a spiritual path of eating fish and meat and chicken, and I am a missionary person. I smoke 10 cigarettes a day, but I am teaching you Vedanta. How is it possible? It's nonsense. And we call them fathers, we call them mothers, we call them swamis, we call them gurus. Jai Krishna Tattva Vedka Saitu, one who knows the science of Krishna is good. Even if you are as great as Shukracharya, who can bring a dead person back to life, but if you are not a devotee of Krishna, you should be rejected as Guru. Have I made myself clear? Do you all need a guide? Do you want to have introduction to a real guide? So I will take another 10 minutes to show you a brief glimpse of a real guide. And I am not saying this because I am an ISKCON member. I am saying this because I really feel it from the core of my heart. I am going to give you a small description of Srila Prabhupada. I am going to present to you the life and teachings of Srila Prabhupada in a nutshell. And after 10 minutes I am going to ask you, did it touch your heart or not? Not because I spoke it in a very nice, charismatic way, but because his life only is such an idealistic life, such a spiritual life, such a life of selflessness, that you will be touched by it. Srila Prabhupada was 5 years old. His father was a cloth merchant. Srila Prabhupada told in one of his interviews that I used to remember that my father, whenever he used to come back home after shutting his shop, he used to have bath, get into dhoti kurta, no, not getting into dhoti. Those days people used to wear dhoti kurta only. So he used to have bath, change his clothes, and then he used to start worshipping Radha Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that the main business of my father was worshipping Radha and Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that everything which I know in deity worship, I learned from my father. Then one day he went and told his father that, Father, I also want to worship Radha and Krishna. So his father got him a small Radha Krishna vigraha. And Srila Prabhupada used to worship them, make dress for them, offer bhoga to them. And he used to not eat anything without offering to them, right from the age of 5. These are the signs of an acharya. Here is a photo where you see a small rath has been made. Srila Prabhupada was very fond of Jagannath. And every day he used to go to the station and see the timing of the train which is going to Jagannath Puri. But he was a small child, so he was not able to go. So he told his father, I want to celebrate Rath Yatra in my house. And his father used to encourage him. Good, very good. So his father made a small Rath for him. And he put Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, and he did a Rath Yatra in his own locality. And everybody participated. And his father sponsored the entire prasadam, the entire celebration. Who will spend so much for all this for a 5-year-old boy? And which 5-year-old boy will have such desires? His father wanted him to become a preacher of the Bhagavad Dharma. Once there was some opportunity for him to go to England to study and become a barrister. But his father straight away said no. He said that my son, if he will go to England, he will become a woman hunter and a meat eater and a liquor drunkard. He'll become a mlecha. I have born and I have brought up my son as a Vaishnava, but if he goes to England, he'll become a mlecha. I don't want him to. These are the kind of fathers we are talking. This is a father. And there are some fathers who are like, why are you not going to do this? Please don't mind, but there are some fathers. Especially, there are some states of India who have made a particular part of the world as their goal of life. I'll name that state, you tell me the goal of life. Kerala? Gulf. Correct. Tamil Nadu? US. Punjab and Haryana? Nobody has a goal to go back home, back to God. So I had a friend, just sharing. He was from Tamil Nadu. I'm not saying that all Tamilians are like this, but most of them. So he was supposed to go on a foreign assignment. He was my colleague. So for some time, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, his turn came to go on a foreign assignment to USA. He told his father, "Hey, I'm going to USA." His father told him, "Now, the day I gave you birth, that day has become significant." Actually, his father was more very, very harsh, but I don't want to speak like that. His father was like, "Today, you are my son." And then his father went and told the whole village, "My son." My son, not your son. It so happened that the project got cancelled. So his visit also got cancelled. But the whole village had come to know that he's going. He came to me and he said, "What do you do now? I have so much village pressure, spouse pressure, relative pressure, in-laws pressure, above all father pressure to go to USA." And he was literally shivering as he was talking to me. Kya hoga? I could not help him at that time. But ultimately, he took a decision. Even if the project was cancelled, he purchased a ticket to go to USA. He went and came back. Personal. This is the pressure I'm saying. These are one category of fathers, and look at the father of Srila Prabhupada. To sponsor Rath Yatras. Do Rath Yatra. Not only Srila Prabhupada was great, but the condition. Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, sloka number 38 to 42, if you read, 37 to 42. Those who have practiced Krishna consciousness, Krishna takes care of them in their next life. He gives you a birth in a nice family where you can revive your Vaishnavism, where you can revive your Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada appeared in such a family where right from the age of 5 he was worshipping Radha Krishna deities, making dress for them, offering bhoga to them, taking darshan of them, doing Rath Yatras. And his father from day one told him that I don't want you to become a worldly man. I'm a businessman, you can take over my business, but I want you to become a preacher of Bhagavad Dharma. So he put him in Mridanga classes. If you go and learn Mridanga nicely, and go on the streets of Calcutta and do nice kirtan, and everybody should be mesmerized when you sing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. However, as he grew up, he went to some college, and in the college, for some time he forgot due to the material educationing, due to the soul-killing artistic education, and due to the freedom struggle pressure. For some time, he took some other direction. Earlier he was a devotee of Krishna, then he became a devotee of Gandhi. During his graduation, he refused to accept the degree because Gandhiji had told, refuse everything which is British. But something very great happened in his life. In 1922, when he was around 31 years old, he met his spiritual master, whose name was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who comes in the Brahma Sampradaya. Srila Prabhupada was the leader amongst his friends. And whenever the friends, earlier Prabhupada's name was Abhay Charan Dev. So Abhay Charan De's friends used to come to him to seek opinion. So when the saintly personality came to Kolkata, the friends of Abhay Charan, they came to him and they said, come, we'll go and meet this saintly person. Because if Abhay Charan will say, yes, he is a saintly person, then everybody will agree. That was the natural leadership of Srila Prabhupada. Now, Abhay Charan, always as he was growing up, his father used to keep calling saintly people in his house, and he used to keep serving them, and in return he used to ask that please bless my son so that he becomes a servant of Srimati Radharani. So from childhood, Abhay Charan had seen many saintly people, but he saw many pseudo saints also. Saints who are not actually saints coming to his house and going out and smoking bidi and eating things and having illicit connections with 10,000 women. So over a period of time, seeing wrong examples of the renounced order or the saintly people, he lost faith in the saintly people. So he was not very interested to meet Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But somehow his friend pushed him, pulled him and took him. And there, as soon as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur saw him, he said that you people are young men, educated. Why don't you learn the Bhagavad Gita and the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya nicely and preach in the English language? At that time, Srila Prabhupada, that time Abhay Charan De, argued that India is a subordinate country. Right now, the need of the hour is the independence. In this situation, who will listen to your philosophy of Lord Chaitanya and Bhagavad Gita? But Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur defeated him at that time by saying that governments will come and go, powers will come and go, politicians, rulers will come and go. But Krishna consciousness is an emergency. Krishna consciousness cannot wait for independence. Lack of knowledge or lack of Krishna consciousness is the cause of all sufferings. In fact, even in the subordinate situation, if India becomes Krishna conscious, they will have no problems. My great-grandfather was a freedom fighter. Before he quit his body, he told me, with tears in his eyes, that India before independence was much better. I am not trying to belittle the struggle of the freedom fighters. But the people who actually stayed in that era, my great-grandfather, told me this, that the corruption, the bureaucracy was much less before independence. The honesty, integrity, the actual spiritual culture was much before. Much better. I'm not saying it has become bad now. But the point is, at one point of time India was subordinate, now it is independent. At one point of time it was Sone ki Chidiya, now it is I don't know what kind of Chidiya. But Krishna consciousness or the science of Bhagavad Gita cannot wait. Situation will change, Corona will come and go, Bhagavad Gita cannot stop. In this way, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur convinced Srila Prabhupada that the real need, if there is lack of anything in this world, it is the lack of God consciousness. There is nothing else which is lacking. If simply everybody becomes God conscious, immediately this whole world will become Vaikuntha. If everybody takes to Krishna consciousness, immediately Ram Rajya will manifest. The problem is people want to establish Ram Rajya without Lord Ram. That is the problem. So Srila Prabhupada was intellectually defeated by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and at that time he surrendered to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And as he came out with his friend, he made a statement that the mission of Lord Chaitanya is in safe hands, in the hands of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was the greatest Vedic scholar of his time. When he used to go to any meeting where all Vedic scholars are sitting, once he would start speaking on the Vedanta and the Vedas, people would immediately surrender to him. They would all wash his feet and take the water of his feet washed and sprinkle on everybody in the assembly. That was the caliber of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Mayavadis who say that there is no God, I am God, you are God, everybody is God, when they used to see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati walking and coming, they used to change their path and go away. That we cannot argue with Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Srila Prabhupada always thought, I met a very, very nice person. Although he immediately did not surrender, immediately did not take initiation, immediately did not start helping Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. But in his core of his heart, he always kept thinking that I met a very, very nice person. Later on from Kolkata, he moved to Allahabad and started his pharmaceutical business. However, in 1932, his spiritual master came to Allahabad again. And at that time, Srila Prabhupada received initiation from him. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur came there, it was announced that all the people who are sitting here, there is a very nice temple of Lord Vishnu nearby. You have two options. Either you can go and take darshan of that temple, or else you can stay here and hear the class from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Most of the people, they got up and they went to take darshan. But Abhay Charan Dey, Srila Prabhupada, he did not get up. He sat down. He said that only Guru can reveal Narayan to me. Without hearing from Guru, what kind of eye exercise will I do by going in a Vishnu temple? I can see Krishna through my ears by hearing from my Guru. So although majority of people got up and went away to take darshan, but Srila Prabhupada stayed. And then he continued coming every class after class to listen to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took note of that. So therefore, when Srila Prabhupada came for getting initiated, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, yes, I have taken note of this boy. He likes to hear. He doesn't go away. That is initiated. And in 1932, he was initiated as Abhay Charnarvind Prabhu or Abhay Charan Babu. So in 1932, he received his initiation. I think in 1937, sometime around that time, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur passed away from this planet. But before he passed away, Srila Prabhupada, Abhay Charnarvind Prabhu, he wrote a letter to his spiritual master that I am a grihastha, I am a businessman, I have my own affairs, you have many sannyasi disciples, they are helping you day and night. Me as a grihastha, as a businessman, how can I help you? Is there any seva for me? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur replied to that letter in 1937 with the same order which he gave to Abhay Charan when he first met him in 1922. He said that you know English very nicely. Why don't you preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in the English language in the Western countries? This will help you also and help the people of the West also. Abhay Charanarvind Prabhu immediately understood that this is the same order which my spiritual master gave me 15 years ago. And now, when 15 years later I write him a letter, he replies the same. 1 week after Prabhupada received this letter, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur passed away. So that was the last instruction which he had, and he made it the goal of his life. 2 instructions Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave him. First instruction was, whenever you have money, print books. And the second instruction which he gave was, preach the message of Lord Chaitanya in the English language in the Western countries. So in 1944, before independence, Srila Prabhupada started a magazine called Back to Godhead. He was a businessman, he was a family man, but he used to take out time to write some articles and spread it in the intelligentsia of the country, amongst the intellectual society of the country. He used to also take the pain of taking these magazines and couriering it to some universities in England and America and other places. Time passed by and he started writing his own translation of Bhagavad Gita, which was in line with the teachings of his Guru Maharaj. He was writing commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, writing commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. Many times his spiritual master used to come in his dream and he used to tell him that you take sannyas now. Because if you will remain involved in this family business, in these family affairs, you cannot dedicate your life for the purpose of upliftment of the society in general. Until and unless you make the whole world your family, you cannot serve this world. But at that time, Abhay Charan Babu, Abhay Charanarvind used to think, how can I take sannyas? One day, he came to his house and he started looking for his manuscript of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, which he was writing from the last 5 years. He could not find it. So he asked his wife. His wife was a very chaste wife, very nice wife, surrendered wife. The only thing which she used to not agree with her husband is Krishna. When Abhay Charanarvind used to organize many programs to preach Krishna consciousness, his wife and his sons used to sit up and drink tea, but not come for the Gita class. As a family man, Srila Prabhupada was getting a little upset. When he used to chant Hare Krishna in his house, his wife doesn't used to like. She used to say, go outside and chant, don't chant at home. So just to maintain peace in the house, he used to go out and chant. He wanted to marry his daughter, but due to some insane reason, his wife kept rejecting all the boys he saw. So after that, he gave up the idea of marrying his daughter. Because whomever he used to try to marry, his wife used to reject. One of his sons became a chain smoker, started drinking liquor and all those things. And his mother used to encourage. Yeah, everybody is doing, you should also do it. So one day, it so happened that his business in Allahabad, the pharmaceutical business, thieves came and they stole all the equipments from the factory, all the medicinal stock, and they even opened up the treasury and stole all the money. Everything was stolen. Yasyaham anugranami harishyaita dhanam shane. In the Bhagavatam, in one place, Krishna says, when I become especially merciful on someone, I take away everything from them. Don't worry, you and me are not in that category, because we are not surrendered to Krishna that thing. When Krishna sees here is a sincere devotee, but he has some weakness of heart and some attachments which he is struggling to give up, then Krishna will take away that, so that that person becomes fully surrendered. Srila Prabhupada understood that this is a sign from Krishna. So when he went back home, looking for his manuscript of Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, could not find it. He asked his wife, where is it? Wife said that I sold it to buy some tea biscuits. So Prabhupada asked his wife, tea or me? Of course his wife said jokingly, but at that time she said, I want tea. Prabhupada understood this is the sign of Krishna. And then he left. He had 3 sons to take care of his wife. He had left sufficient property, sufficient money. there was no dearth in any way. He was a businessman, respected businessman. So he walked away after that. And then in 1962, after taking sannyas, he published the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is a great struggle. If you read the life history of Prabhupada, you will understand. Lal Bahadur Shastri appreciated this version of Bhagavatam so much that as a Prime Minister, was he a Prime Minister or President?
Prime Minister.
As a Prime Minister, he gave order that every government library should have all the books written by Srila Prabhupada. After sannyas, the name of Prabhupada became Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. The struggle of this was so great that he used to stay in Chippiwada, Delhi at that time. Vrindavan actually was staying in Vrindavan. And he used to go to Chippiwada. To go to Chippiwada, he used to go by train, and to buy that ticket, he used to skip his breakfast. And then he used to go and meet various printers, request them to give him some paper. He used to purchase paper, come back home to Vrindavan. With his two fingers, whole night and day, he used to sit and type on that typewriter the Bhagavatam. Then he used to again go back to the printers, help them, request them to bind his book, provide a cover for his book. And then when he was successful in printing some volumes, he used to go to the pious people of Delhi, Vrindavan and other areas of India and request them to purchase a copy so that he can get some Lakshmi to print the next volume. Once it so happened that one person took some volumes of Bhagavatam from him and he didn't give money and he said, you come and tomorrow to my house and I'll give you. Prabhupada went there and he waited, and it was very sunny. He was waiting and waiting and waiting. And one bull came and hit him. And he fell down on the ground and fainted in that sun. I mean, I'm trying to say, today, the knowledge of Bhagavatam, which was locked in the Sanskrit language and lost and forgotten forever, today it is there even in Antarctica because of this great personality and the struggle which he took to write it. After he wrote the first 3 volumes of his Bhagavatam, his spiritual master and Rupa Goswami both came in his dream and told him that it is now time for you to go to the West. Considering that dream again as an instruction, because the scriptures say that dreams are not to be taken seriously, but whenever Krishna or Guru comes in your dream, that dream has to be taken seriously. This is Shastra. This is Shastra. This is the version of the Shastra. So he consulted with people. Everybody told him, no, you should not go. Why you are going? Old man, you will die if you will go. So with great struggle, he met Sumati Moraji, who was the head of Scindia shipbuilding company. She persuaded him that you will die if you go. You should not go. But he kept requesting, no, I want the passage to America. I want the passage to America. So she gave him a free passage in one of her cargo ships to him. So on 13th August 1965, with just 40 rupees, he sat on a ship called as Jaladuta and went to USA. How many of you have gone to USA? Before going, you must have known where you will stay, whom you will meet, and you must have had a lot of money with you. Being in the internet era, you must have seen how USA looks like. At the age of 69, Srila Prabhupada went to the West. He tells in an interview that when I got down at the harbor of New York, I didn't know whether to go left or whether to go right. A saintly, gentle man, old man, born and brought up in India, who has no idea about the West, going to New York and feeling I don't know whether to go west, left or whether to go right. He said, I had only 40 rupees with me, and that was then an expenditure of few hours in New York. He didn't know anybody. He didn't know where to go. But he had the instruction of his guru in his heart. Go to the west, preach in the English language. That 40 rupees which he got was not what he was carrying, because a sannyasi is not allowed to carry money. Captain Pandya, who was the captain of this Jaladuta ship, he sold him few volumes of Bhagavatam and received some Lakshmi from him, and that became his traveling Lakshmi. During the journey of 30 days, he got 2 heart attacks. And he told that if I would have got the 3rd heart attack, I would have died. When the 2nd heart attack was active, when he was in too much pain and he had no one to help him, at that time he started intensely praying to Lord Krishna. And the Acharya had a vision that Lord Krishna entered the room in the ship and kept his hand on his heart. And then he said that all my pain went away. And then he went into deep sleep, and in his sleep he again got a dream in which he saw that Krishna, along with all his other Leela incarnations, Leela avatars, have taken charge of the ship. Next day when he came out of his bed, weak, struggling back from a heart attack, Captain Pandya comes to the room and he said that I have been driving the ship from so many years, I have never seen the Pacific Ocean so calm. It is like an unnatural phenomenon. Ocean cannot be so calm. Why is it so calm? I don't know. Srila Prabhupada smiled and replied, because Krishna has taken charge of the ocean and the ship. And then he landed first in Boston, and then from there he reached the New York harbor in 1965. He struggled for 1 year there. Generally all these swamis, yogis, when they used to go to the west, they used to take shelter in the house of rich people. They used to give up their saintly dress, they used to start wearing coat, pant, they used to start eating with folks and they used to adapt the Western culture. But here was A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada in his sannyasi attire with the same plastic shoes which he had in India, pointed shoes. He was not prepared for the winter of New York, just with a stick in his hand walking around, struggling. He was distributing his books and then he was asking, going back to those shops and asking, has any book been sold? He used to again start working upon his Bhagavad Gita manuscript on this typewriter. But the janitor of the building where he was staying got into his building and stole his typewriter and manuscript. So the Bhagavad Gita which we are reading now is the 3rd attempt which Srila Prabhupada made to write the Bhagavad Gita. The first 2 attempts were spoiled. First attempt was stolen to a kabadiwala to buy tea biscuits, and second attempt was stolen by a janitor along with the typewriter. He was struggling, he didn't have anybody, he was all alone. One day he went to a park called as Tompkins Square Park. Till now this park is known and recognized by the American government. The tree under which he stood and did his kirtan is called as the Hare Krishna tree. You can find it. He was not preaching to the people like you. He was preaching to those people who used to be in drugs on LSD for 72 hours generally, normal. People for whom meat eating, gambling, illicit sex life and intoxication was natural. He was dealing with it. So he went in the park and he started chanting Hare Krishna. He didn't have anything, he didn't have money, he didn't have contacts, he didn't have any helpers. He was writing letters to his god brothers that please help me, send some people, send some money, but nobody was helping him. All alone he was struggling, but he had one thing with him. He had the holy name of Krishna. And he had full faith in it. Later on, when Srila Prabhupada passed away from this planet, his personal diary was found. And there is a poem which he wrote on the Jaladuta ship. And that is a poem written in pure devotion. And when you read that poem, you will realize how much faith he had in the instructions of his Guru and in the Holy Name. He started chanting Hare Krishna, and these hippies, he started singing and dancing. That was the counterculture movement, 1966, where the leaders of the society were druggists. And they used to say that anybody who is above the age 30, don't listen to them. In that age where everything was wrong and everybody was fully frustrated, Srila Prabhupada walked into the middle of that counterculture. And all these young boys and girls who were practically 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, they all surrendered to an old man who was 72 years old. The first kirtan which he did in Tompkins Square Park, he said, Prabhupada says that is the starting point of my movement. The New York Times Square came and reported it. That how this chanting of Hare Krishna is helping people to give up LSD, to give up all bad habits. Then these young men and young women of America who were frustrated and looking for truth in life, who were fed up of the nonsense which was being fed to them in their schools and universities. When they met Srila Prabhupada and they saw his genuineness, and when they saw that there is no difference between what he says and what he does, and when they saw how dedicated he is towards his Guru and ultimately Lord Krishna, their heart melted. A journalist from those days writes says in an interview that Srila Prabhupada's devotion was so strong that anybody whom he used to meet used to start chanting Hare Krishna and used to become a devotee of Krishna. Anybody. So in 1966, with the help of his disciples, he founded the Hare Krishna movement, or the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. The lawyer was arguing, why don't you call it God consciousness? Then Christians will also come. He said, no, I am here to spread Krishna consciousness. I want the whole world to know that God is Krishna. People told that, you know what, if you speak this no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, especially this no illicit sex philosophy, people will not come to you. Say something which they like. Srila Prabhupada said, I cannot compromise the philosophy just to please the Americans. So he was very strict. And all these hippies who came to him, surrendered to him, they now have become world acharyas. And they all surrendered to him, gave up meat eating, gave up gambling, gave up illicit sex life, gave up intoxication in America. And they surrendered to Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada is the greatest ambassador of Sanatana Dharma in the whole world. Very few people know this. Everybody knows Swamis. They didn't make much disciples in their lifetime. But here is a personality who introduced Sanatana Dharma to everybody. You see this photo? These are the children of his disciples. He introduced India to the whole world. Everybody learned this Vedic culture. Once when he went to the United Kingdom, a press reporter asked him that, why have you come here, Swami? He said he was a genius, of course. He was very intelligent and he was very witty also. He said that the Britishers, they looted everything from India. One thing they forgot. They forgot to take away Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. I have come to give that. Like that, he was. Somehow the journalists used to love him. They were criticizing the whole world. They were criticizing Ford. They were criticizing all the prime ministers. But they used to love Srila Prabhupada. Once one journalist asked him that why do you travel in such expensive cars? Srila Prabhupada explained that journalist that for a disciple, Guru has to be treated like God. Guru is not God, but a disciple should treat the Guru like God. So therefore my disciples arrange, just like for God we arrange the best vehicle. When we do Rath Yatra, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra come separately. And we see in our congregation who has the most expensive and the most royal car. Jagannath travels in Lamborghini when comes to the Rath. That is our culture. So Guru should also be travelled in Lamborghini. And Srila Prabhupada made a comment that I can spend the money of the whole world in the service of Krishna. Unfortunately, you don't give it to me. That is the problem. So all the journalists used to like whatever he used to say, love him. Once one journalist, female journalist came wearing mini skirt, asking him, why all Hare Krishna people shave their head and wear dhotis? Srila Prabhupada said, touching his dhoti, he said it is better to have warm feet and cool head rather than having cool legs and warm head. And that female journalist, she liked it. And she turned around and he said, I like this man. He's genuine. Many people used to surrender to him. He opened many gurukuls. This is a photo which I took from Germany. My friends, see how they are accepting the Vedic culture. They were not meant for doing all this. But because of one transcendental, saintly, elderly gentleman who was happy, who had attained perfection, in his Krishna consciousness and was happy in Vrindavan. But because he took the trouble to go through 2 heart attacks with just 40 rupees, go to the West and preach, it is because of him that we are all sitting here today. He introduced marriage and other Vedic samskaras in the Western world. He introduced India to the whole world. Look at this young man. He dedicated his life to distribute this Bhagavad Gita. It was not like, in those days there was no such thing as congregation. Congregation means I am connected to ISKCON, probably I have taken initiation in ISKCON, but I stay in my house, I go to the job. In those days there was no congregation. In those days either you stay in temple or you stay outside. So all these people, they used to stay in the temple. They used to stay in brahmachari ashrams and then they used to serve, they dedicate their life. And when somebody had some disturbance, they used to take permission from Srila Prabhupada and get married also. He was compassion personified. He was not a very traditional, orthodox kind of a person. He encouraged his female disciples to give lectures. He encouraged his female disciples to lead book distribution. He did not differentiate on this material platform. At the time when the feminism culture was ruling the whole world, when the whole world was becoming feminist, at that time he opposed the feminist culture. He taught his female disciples to wear sari. He taught his female disciples to become submissive to their husbands. He taught his female disciples to understand that their role is different in the society, and he taught his male disciples that their role is different in the society. But ultimately, at the spiritual platform, he always said, man is different, woman is different, but at the spiritual platform, all are same. So Srila Prabhupada is the first Acharya in the world who gave Brahmin initiation or Gayatri Diksha to even women. It is unheard. We never hear women chanting Gayatri in any other sampradaya. But Srila Prabhupada saw the need. And because he made this amendment according to time, place and circumstance, that is why ISKCON flourished all over the world. If we would have taken a traditional approach that women are just meant for cooking, ISKCON wouldn't have spread so much. Today you go to the West, of course in India we don't find women pujaris because India is a land of Pancharatri ki vidhi. But in the foreign temples, at least I have seen, in many temples, women pujaris. Where have you seen women entering the garbhagriha, you say? But Srila Prabhupada allowed. He said that if you are trained, if you have the right consciousness, and if you follow the rules and regulations, of course, a woman cannot be dirty when she is in the garbhagriha. So a combination of 2-3 women can become pujaris in a temple. Today, till date in ISKCON, many Matajis are temple presidents. And we do not differentiate that you are a woman, so you are more intelligent, or you are a woman, so you are less intelligent. As long as any Jai Krishna Tattva Vedna say you, anybody who knows the science of Krishna has to be respected. So Srila Prabhupada encouraged all his male disciples, and I can tell you stories after stories. Once there was a person who used to be constantly in drugs. But when he saw Prabhupada once, he immediately as he saw him, he understood that if there is anybody in the world who can save me, it is this person. Once when Srila Prabhupada was coming back from a walk with his other sannyasi disciples, this person who was so dirty that nobody used to allow him to come inside the temple because he used to smell so bad, somehow came and touched the feet of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada touched his head and he said, "Don't worry, everything will be okay." And this person says that something changed in me at that time. From the next day only I gave up drugs. From the next day only I started having bath. In the next 1 week I started reading Bhagavad Gita. In the next 1 month I started chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Maha. And today that person is not alive. But that person went on to become the greatest scholar in ISKCON, who translated so many works from Sanskrit of the previous acharyas into English, and also from Bengali into English. From a drug addict to the greatest scholar, simply by the mercy of Prabhu. I met him and I asked him that what changed you as a person. He said that 30 seconds when Srila Prabhupada kept his hand on my head, he says that changed my life. And I have met so many people like this that I get tears in my eyes. He has really changed so many people's life. If you really want to understand what Prabhupada has done, you cannot come to Indian ISKCON centers and understand that. You have to go to the West and you see how the naked dance of Maya which is happening there. In that circumstances, he has transplanted the Vedic culture completely. If you want to understand what Prabhupada has done, go to the West and see how he established the ISKCON temples. His spiritual master told him, whenever you have money, print books. So he took the task of translating Srimad Bhagavatam. Every night, he used to go to sleep at 10 p.m. and wake up at 12 midnight. And from 12 midnight till 4 a.m. in the morning, he used to sit and translate every day. He had so many disciples. He had so many temples. He had so many gurus. But he did not miss this one single activity. And I put this photo here because this is Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON Vrindavan temple on his bed, quitting his body, dying literally. But till his last breath, his consciousness was unaffected. I mean, all these disciples who are there, Pradyumna Prabhu and Jayadvaita Maharaj and others who are, the person who is holding the mic is now a sannyasi in ISKCON. He tells me that when I saw Prabhupada translating Srimad Bhagavatam at that time, I could understand that here is a man who understands that he is not the body but he is the spirit soul. Until the last moment of his life, all he could think was the instruction of my spiritual master. And he was translating the Bhagavatam till the last breath. This is a snapshot of his contribution. In 12 years, he wrote more than 80 volumes of books, which will be the law books of the society for the next 10,000 years. This I can tell you for guarantee. In 12 years, he traveled the earth 14 times. In 12 years, he made 108 temples. Can you believe this? A man who had only 40 rupees made 108 gigantic temples. Not just in India, almost leaving 4 temples in India, 104 were in Western countries. And he made gurukuls and he made farm communities. He initiated more than 5,000 disciples, and he did all this between the advanced age of 70 and 80. Once I was giving a class like this, a very elderly person I was trying to help people understand, please understand what Srila Prabhupada has done, please. And an elderly person who was around 75 years of age, he said, and got up and he interrupted me. And he said, shut up. I said, what happened? Why are you speaking like this? He said that you are trying to help people understand what Prabhupada has done. None of you can understand what Prabhupada has done until you become 70 years of age. When you are 70 years of age, then you will understand what Prabhupada has done. I completely agreed with him. I appreciated it. And I thanked him for correcting me. And till now I am mentioning it. That until we become 70 years of old age, we cannot understand. You know, Harvard Business School made a case study on that. From 40 rupees to 400 million in 12 years. Nobody has done this kind of, if you call it as business, nobody, if someone tells you the story, you will not believe it. It's true. And the whole world, it's a sad thing, we know all bogus people, but very few people know Srila Prabhupada. The question is, do I need a guide in my life? Answer is yes, we know the definition of Guru. And here is a real sadhu. The various universities read his books. All the professors congratulate him. All the businesses and various institutions, they follow him. It's a sad thing that in India, we don't know it much. So with that, I conclude today's discussion. We agree that we all need a guide, and my recommendation is, please accept Srila Prabhupada as your guide. Because my life changed when I accepted him. I didn't lose anything, I gained a lot. Practical tip of the day. There has to be a mood of reading the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita should be read not on the couch, not in your mobile phone, on some website in your toilet. You have to worship. You have to literally have some discipline in you. While reading the Bhagavad Gita, you have to become a devotee of Krishna, become non-envious of Krishna, respect the Bhagavad Gita as well as Bhagavad Gita. Don't read but hear from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. The commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, they are not different from the discussion of Krishna and Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita is not just a book, but it is Krishna speaking to you. Why? Because it is as it is. I recommend that if you do not have a personal, just like you have your personal phone, you have your personal Netflix subscription, you have your personal bank account, you should have a personal copy of Bhagavad Gita. And you should carry it with you all the time. If you don't have, pick up a copy. Whichever language you want, you can pick up. But please have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. I would like to end today's discussion by reminding you that whatever result was obtained in Satyuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Iti Shodashakam Nama Kalikalmashanashanam Natah Parataropaya Sarvavedeshu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These 16 names composed of the 32 syllables are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. Evil effects of Kali Yuga are beating, gambling, illicit sex, and prostitution. In all the Vedas, it is seen that to cross the ocean of nescience, there is no alternative to chanting. So with this, we conclude today's discussion. My spiritual master always tells me that Arjunasakha, you should measure your preaching by the number of rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra your students are chanting and the number of Bhagavad Gitas which are being distributed. So how many of you would like to chant at least one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? That means 108 times Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. This mantra being told 108 times on a Jap Mala. How many of you would like to chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily? If you are coming to these classes and if I am not able to convince you to chant Hare Krishna, I have wasted my 2 hours. The end result of these classes should be that we should chant Hare Krishna, because that is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga. If you are not chanting Hare Krishna, I am a failure as a teacher. and you are also a failure as a student. Similarly, if you do not read the Bhagavad Gita, simply come for these classes, after a certain point of time you will not feel like continuing. Because the modes of material nature, the mode of passion and mode of ignorance will suppress you very badly. If you do not daily bathe in the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita, doesn't matter if you have bathed in Ganges 108 times a day, doesn't matter. One needs to have bath in the Ganges of Bhagavad Gita every day. Otherwise, there's no question of attaining the Lotus Feet. So these two things we highly recommend. Actually, we recommend 4 things. Come regularly to these classes, just like Prabhupada did. His spiritual master took note of it. Number 2, read the Bhagavad Gita daily, at least for 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily. And regularly have Krishna Prasad. If you cannot make Prasad at your home, take a glass of water, put a tulsi leaf, offer it to Krishna and drink it. Some Prasad should go into your system every day. So with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Any